Hello there, folks, and welcome to our inaugural session of Dragon Age Secrets. I am, as you will recognise, I'm your DM of Doom, Son of Asgard, or World Tree Quest here on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. But for the foreseeable, on Saturdays, I will no longer be being addressed as DM of Doom, because I'm not a dungeon master on Saturdays. I am going to be a keeper, a storyteller for a Dragon Age campaign, and that is what I'll be conducting with these guys. So you can call me your keeper of Doom for Saturdays. With me today we've got my amazing cast, who have all been incredibly excited, waiting for this week to pass so we can get to this moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow my cast to introduce themselves, tell you where you can find their lovely faces, other things that they do, and hell, do you know what? When you're introducing yourself, you have to tell us who your favourite Dragon Age character is, if you've played the games. If you haven't, that's fine. Just, you know, tell us something you like about Dragon Age then. Go for it. I'll start off. So for me, hi, I'm Bran. I go by he, them. I've been playing Dragon Age games since Origins came out, because I'm that old. And I think my favourite Dragon Age character of all time is probably... I'm going to be boring and say Hawk. I like Hawk. I like canon Blood Mage Hawk. That's good for me. I'm just going to go... I'm going to roll a d4 and just see who it lands on. So, Jason, on a 1 it'll be you. Jack, on a 2 it'll be you. Abby, on a 3 it's you. And Jess, on a 4 it's you. Oh, would you look at that? It's a 2. Jack, we're going to go with you, and then we're just going to go clockwise on my screen. So, Jack, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be me when I put a pretzel in my mouth. Well, hello. I'm Jack. I'm a Jacklish on basically any socials. It's the same anywhere, basically, just Jacklish. There might be an underscore there before, just because for some reason Jacklish was taken in other places before I got to it. Addresses he, they. Pick your favorite, pick your poison. I have not played the Dragon Age games. I've just voraciously devoured the lore. So off of that, is it also boring to say Iron Bull? Like, he almost solely convinced me to start playing the games, so I have to say Iron Bull.
The amount of people that will see this and just go, no, that's not boring. That is the common opinion.
Alright, cool.
Iron Bull is very much not a boring option. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jack. We're going to go to yourself next, Jess. So,
hi, I'm Jess. I'm not many places. I used to be on TikTok, but I haven't posted for like a year and a half. But I'm here on Wednesdays for another Brand's campaign, so you can see me be just a little druid who's kind of sad right now, but that's okay. She's figuring her life out. I use she, her, and I also have not played Dragon Age, but I do know that there's a lot of angst behind this particular character. And I've seen a lot of clips with this character, so I'm gonna say Stolas.
oh.
And I knew I'd get a reaction with it, so that's also kind
that's
of why I did
divisive.
Veilguard's gonna be interesting for you.
I want to crack his bald head like an egg. Come here, you boiled egg bandit. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Jess. Oh, Jason, I didn't mean you. Don't worry, buddy. Moving along, we're going to go to Abby. Abby, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Abby. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me across the internet at WittyXWitch or on the Star Ravens podcast playing D&D and soon to also be Dragon Age. My favorite character, because I have played all 3 games pre-Veilguard, is... let me get a list out. I'm going to say Isabella, because I relate to her the most, I think.
That's a win opinion right there. That is what that is.
And I also love cosplaying her, so
Isabella's cool. I'm definitely saving up for a Hawk and for a Grey Warden mage armor cosplay. Those are definitely my next 2 plans. Thank you very much, Abby. And last and most certainly not least, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason, or Wacky on all social medias. Wacky Man, TTV, Wacky Man, some variation thereof. I'm also on Dicey Tables podcast and work as the developer at Dicey Tables RPG. We're in the middle of making our new game. But yeah, as we just had a win take, I'm going to do an L take here, and my favorite character is Fenris. So, like, we all have our type, and mine is Brooding Elfman.
It's okay, I get it. You can fix him. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. And from what I've gauged here, I'm familiar. Like, I know I've played at tables with Jess. I've known Abby. And your experience with Dragon Age as a whole for a wee bit of time. Jack and Jason, I'm fairly new to you guys, but I get the feeling there's kind of like a fairly even across the board understanding of how to play the game from somebody who knows it for a long time, somebody who's played bits here and there, to two newbies straight in the bat. So a fairly widespread knowledge of the game. And that's why we've come today to do this. The party has agreed, very, very graciously, to do their character creation live on stream for all of you, so you can get a grips of how the game works. Unfortunately, I did try and get a thing where the rulebook would come up and everybody would get to see it, but it's not working for some reason. I will try and get that sorted so that we can show images and such for the foreseeable future of the campaign. So for now, you'll just have to kind of follow along, and I'll try and do as best I can and try and fix it while I'm also running the stream here, because I found out I can do that.
Try and fix it like we try to fix Fenris.
No, because there's hope that I can actually fix this.
It feels like there needs to be a counter on that one, the I can fix him counter. That feels kind of popular in this series, given two of our favorite character choices so far.
That should just be a counter for Dragon Age in general. I can fix him! No, you can't!
Who are the romances that you do not need to fix?
One, Isabella, because she's a boss-ass bitch, and boss-ass bitch be boss-ass bitchin'. Number two, Morrigan. How dare you try and take away her alternative mindset? And
Morrigan gives very I can fix her energy.
Yeah,
I can make her believe in love.
Yeah, she gives I can fix her energy, but she doesn't need to be fixed.
I mean, do any of them need to be fixed?
Yes.
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 Zevran needs to sort his shit out.
Solus?
Solus is just a dick, alright? Nobody actually likes Solus. People just are mad.
That's a bold stance.
People are just... No, I'm gonna die on this hill right now. People that like Solus are also the people that are sad that there wasn't a romantic story involving Severus Snape. I will die on that motherfucking hill.
Somebody clip that. I have like 3 friends I need to send that
to. I'll get that clip for you, my friend. Yeah, so first off, while I get the book and everything open, for those of you who are not aware, Dragon Age is a system that uses 3d6 for basically everything. So it utilizes something very unique called a dragon dice. So as Abby and Jason are showing, and I was about to show, the stance of the game is generally have 2 dice of the same set and 1 dice that is similar but looks a little bit different. And as you roll, this dice that looks different is your dragon dice, and whatever number pops up on that can sometimes have an effect on things in game. But for now, we're going to go into the character creation. Now, as all you guys are familiar, there is a lot less class and race options when it comes to Dragon Age than you would have in, standard TTRPGs like D&D. So, I believe we've already all chosen our races that we're playing as. Fantastic. So, Jess, if you don't mind, what race will you be playing as?
I'm gonna do a Circle Mage human?
So, Circle Mage in this is with Dragon Age, it is quite a strange one, because it combines your background and your class in one go.
Yeah.
So, for instance, the background of Circle Mage means that you can only play a mage. So you're going to be playing as a Circle Mage. Fantastic. And that is a human. Who man? Fantastic. And Jack, what will you be playing as?
This is the background, correct? This
Yes,
would be the, yes.
your background, yes.
Gotcha. Sorry, gonna get a lot of questions like that. I will be playing a Talvasha.
Fantastic. And the race for that is a Kunari, yes?
A Kunari, yes.
For those of you unaware, Kunari are the Goliaths of Dragon Age. Hulking, brutish, and everybody fancies them. It's just a fact. Everybody fancies them.
Mixed with a little tiefling. Goliath with the slightest smidge of tiefling.
I'd actually go so far as to say it's actually closer to Dragonborn.
You know, yeah, I agree with you. Yep.
But that's like deep lore.
It's definitely speculative lore.
Deep lore that I'm aware of, mind you. That's where those videos led me.
Abby, you sent me an idea of what you're looking to play as, yeah?
Yeah, I am playing a Dalish elf.
Fantastic. And last and most certainly not least, Jason.
I will be playing an elven apostate.
Okay. Quite a spread there. Quite a spread. Now, for some of these, it's quite obvious what the class is. As I said, some backgrounds in Dragon Age give you a bit more options of what class you can play with this background. Some of them, it's fairly linear. For instance, if you're playing as an apostate or a circle mage, the only class you can play as is a mage. Whereas with a Dalish elf or with a Talvashoth Kunari, you have the options of warrior and rogue available. So
you can also play mage with either of those too.
Yep.
Yes, as of that's what I was just about to say. Since it's been upgraded from set 1, 2, and 3 into the core rulebook, you can now also add mage into those, which is a great step forward, because it was really weird how I couldn't be a mage as a Talvashoth when I was first playing Dragon Age. So with that, I will now be asking everybody, we know obviously from that, Jess and Jason, you guys will be playing mages as your class.
Correct.
To our Kunari Talvashoth, do you have a class in mind that you're going to play with that?
Yeah, it would be real nice to also be playing a mage, to break them stereotypes. No, warrior. Thank you very much.
Going warrior, fantastic. And to our Dalish elf, the same question. Which of the classes will you be lining up?
I am going for rogue, archer style.
Rogue. Fantastic. That is what I love to see. That's what I love to hear as well. Alright. Oh, we just got a raid with a party of 5. Hi there, guys. Welcome in from NQP Dust. Thank you very much. You're catching us just as we're about to begin. So, with each of these backgrounds that you get lovely little tables that you get to roll on. You roll 2d6, and this is one of the great things about the Dragon Age TTRPG. This way you could have a person who is 2 players who are the same race, the same background, and the same class. But based just on the background tables, you can get 2 individual individual setups that still make your characters completely different. So we're going to ask our players to turn to those respective ones, and I'm going to go round you and get you to roll and see what you get. We'll just go in the same order that we've had. We're going to go Jack, Jess, Abby, Jason. So Jack, I would ask you to find the part of the book or the part of the PDF, whichever one you're working from, that is related to your Talvashoth background, and roll your 2d6, and remember you are rolling those 2d6 twice, and if you get the same thing, unfortunately buddy, you do not get to stack them.
Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
Sorry, I was a bit farther in it. I'm on the PDF on my phone. I do be planning on getting the book, but as of current, I only have the PDF. Okay.
Do you need a computer?
Alright. So that's going to be a 4, which I think is a focus in willpower. Courage,
Fantastic.
specifically.
So, willpower being one of the stats that you have here, or as we call them in Dragon Age, they'll be called abilities. I know how that can get. Stick with me, guys. It gets a lot easier. And as Jack was saying there, a focus, a willpower focus, and you said, what was it you got the focus in?
Courage.
Courage. So this would be similar in aspects to a skill proficiency in D&D. So essentially what the focus does is this gives that if ever Jack has to make a roll to be courageous against something, because he has the focus in it, he gets a +2 to the roll. It's also a lot more linear because there's no change to that really unless more things scale into it. It's just from that focus, he gets that +2. And you don't have to be constantly tracking proficiency bonuses. So your first roll gives you a +2 into the willpower courage focus. Fantastic. So what's your second roll? Are we going to get that coveted +1 strength?
Oh, who knows? No, but I did get the +1 to Constitution.
+1 to Constitution. Fantastic. So with a +1 to Constitution, that means that when we do roll your stats, your abilities, do be sure to check in mind that you do have a +1 to your Constitution on that. All right?
Yes. Alrighty.
Thank you very much for that. From there, we jump on over to the lovely Jess, back up at the Circle Mage background.
So rolls. That's a 12, so I've got a +1 to Constitution for my first one.
Can be handy for mages.
And then I'll roll again. Oh! That's an 11. So I've got religion lore, which fits her so.
That's actually really scarily fitting from what I know of the character. Fantastic.
That works so well for her.
It's really nice when you're building a character and you actually, like, something happens by chance, you're like, this fits so well. I love this.
Right?
Phenomenal. Fantastic. Very well done. We are going to move on to Abby with the Dalish background. Roll your 2d6 and let's see what you get.
I rolled a 5 and a 6, which is a focus in hearing under perception and a focus in cultural lore under cunning.
Fantastic. Starting off with 2 focuses without even getting into the ones you get for being your class. That's fantastic. That's great. That's always a good stack up right there. Fantastic. And from there, we are going to go now to Jason on your rolls under the apostate background.
All right. First one I got is 3, so I get to speak Elven.
Awesome.
And then 4, I get to roll again because that's the same one. 9. Focus and dexterity spell.
Alrighty, so we have an elven apostate with a bit of stealth who can also speak Elven. Funnily enough, don't always get to speak the language your race is in this game. Fantastic, so we've now done the background roles necessary. We're going to now move on to our classes. Now, I understand that before coming into here, some of those who have wanted a bit more time of, getting used to the classes and such have already pre-picked some things, and that's absolutely fine, totally cool with that. We're just still going to go round them all and just kind of get a kind of overview of what the classes do. Okay? So, actually, do you know what I think we'll do? Do you know what we're going to do first off? We're going to do the annoying ones to get out of the way. We're going to do defense and we're going to do speed and get them out of the way. Because in character creation, people always tend to forget about these. So, when it comes to your speed, if anybody's playing a dwarf, which nobody is, 8 plus your dexterity. Elf speed, to take a note for those of you who are playing as the elven race, is 12 plus whatever your dexterity is. Human and Kunari are both 10 plus whatever your dexterity is. Okay, just to put a wee note next to your speed right now, that is what you're going to be sitting at.
also it's in yards, which is different than D&D.
It is in yards. However, a quick way to keep it in mind for yourself is 1 yard is equal to 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a way to kind of keep it in a bit of an easier track for yourself. So, for all of you as well, your defense is going to be 10 plus your speed. Okay? Despite what
Plus
it may...
speed?
10 plus your dexterity. That's what your defense is. And if you have a shield, that bonus gets added onto it as well. So in Dragon Age, defense is equal to your armor class. And armor that you have also on top of defense is like a soak. So if you have armor that has like an armor rating of 5 and you get dealt 7 damage, you only take 2 damage because your armor soaks a bunch of the damage. Another thing that I love about the Dragon Age TTRPG system.
We have to do math.
It's great, but it also gives you a bit more of like there's actually a reason for me to buy this plate armor.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it going to boost up my defense a little bit, it's also going to soak some damage from me. It's a really cool thing I love about the Dragon Age system. Now, instead of doing the classes, what I'm actually going to do is we're going to do everybody's abilities right now. So we're going to go to rolling up your abilities and get that done so that everybody can kind of get to the finding out exactly how good or how bad your character is going to come out and being. I absolutely kid. I'm sure your characters will all be absolutely fine. As with D&D, I do have this kind of similar idea where I'm not going to make you be pinned to what you roll being attached to, I rolled a 6, that has to go in my first ability. I'm not going to do that. You roll them and you can decide where they go. Okay?
Okay.
So, when it comes to rolling your abilities, you take your 3d6, you give them a shake, you roll them. That number that you roll corresponds to a modifier, very similar to D&D, 18 obviously being the highest. So, everybody can start rolling out the numbers and assigning their stats as they want. One thing to remember as you look at your class tells you which stats you're going to want to focus in.
Yeah.
So be sure to look at your class and see your primary stats and such. And while we do that, I am going to chat to our lovely folk. Ooh. So the people that raided in have just come from a session of their own playing Dragon Age.
Nice.
That's really, really cool. What kind of NQP dust, if you're still in here, what kind of things are you doing with your Dragon Age campaign? I'd actually be really, really interested to hear. Not that I'm going to steal your ideas or anything. I promise I won't. I'm not that kind of guy.
Wink, wink.
Or me either, whenever I do mine.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint. Absolutely not. I'm totally joking. I'm just very, very curious. I haven't actually seen many other Dragon Age campaigns being streamed, so I'm always very curious to see what people are doing. So, has anybody rolled the dreaded 3 yet?
I rolled a 6 total.
Haven't rolled if we need a bit of inspiration, haven't rolled the dreaded 13. Rolled the blessed 18 though.
Nice.
Damn!
So
The
Like to
lowest
see
I
it,
rolled
buddy.
was 8. The highest was 17.
Me too. Well, no, my lowest was 6.
I was gonna say,
It's
"Did
gonna
you just
go
say
in
6?"
her strength. She's gonna be a little weakling. Or whatever, yeah, strength.
So, again, as I've said before, I'll say it again just to kind of make sure that it's out there. When it comes to your classes, the classes are very, very explanative in that they give you what the primary abilities are. So for those playing mages, you are going to want to focus on your cunning, your magic, and your willpower. For those of us playing rogues, you want to focus on your communication, your dexterity, and your perception. And for those playing warriors, very obviously, you're going to want to look into leaning heavily into that constitution, the dexterity, and the strength.
So, I have to share this with y'all.
Okay.
I have a friend who is playing Veilguard and says, I've just become an 8-foot-tall brick shithouse bull man, and that's all I've ever wanted to be. And then immediately says, in all capital letters, Solus is a whole bitch. I hate this stupid elf.
Welcome at my table anytime.
Amazing. Amazing.
I want to crack that elf man's head. I am. For those of you that are watching here, I will say this right now. I don't like Zevran. I'm not the biggest fan of Fenris. Stolas is a bitch. And also Carver definitely is justified in how he treats his brother. Just saying. Just saying.
Wow.
Just saying.
A lot of hot takes all at once.
That's a lot of hot takes all at once. Also, if you don't kill Zevran and then Zevran turns on you later on, like, I'm sorry, but you asked for that to happen.
He kind of broadcasts it.
Yeah. Like, it's not as if he doesn't go, I'm definitely not going to kill you.
Judas!
I like the idea that the warden recruits Zevran because they don't really want to be in this mess, and they're like, if someone takes me out in my sleep, that's frankly better, so just as an insurance plan.
I like the idea that playing as a noble, I take Zevran on because I'm like, at some point, I'm going to need target practice. I mean, it turns out he's like, we always knew this was going to happen. I'm like, bitch, my sword is already out. Like, you're already getting cut in half.
Yeah, as a noble, I recruit Zevran with the idea of, like, I might need an assassin sometime. Shit's about to get real weird, so just in case.
I did just have that mentality, then I realised that I'm friends with Morrigan.
Yeah, but she also would probably say something like, I don't really care about your petty issues, so bye.
That's so valid.
That's actually fairly valid, yeah.
She's like, I don't really see how killing him is, like, beneficial to me. I'm just gonna go off into the woods. It's like, yeah, okay,
Just
girl.
gonna walk off into the woods and just do my own thing.
Yeah. Like, you can pay Zevran to kill for you. You can't pay Morrigan to do it.
So, when it comes to what number you've rolled and what that does for your abilities, again, very similar to D&D. It comes into a what number you rolled relates to a modifier. So, if you did by any chance roll the dreaded 3, then you have a -2 in whichever stat that goes in. If you rolled a 4 or a 5, you have a -1 in whichever stat that will go in. If you rolled a 6, a 7, or an 8, then you are basically average. You are standing strong with a 0 in whichever ability you attach that to. A 9, a 10, or an 11 will net you a +1. A 12, a 13, or a 14 will net you a +2. I think you can kind of see where I'm going with this. A 15, a 16, and a 17 will net you a +3, and if you are one of the fortunates who has been graced with the 3 6s for that 18, then you will get a +4 in whichever stat and whichever ability you place that in. Okay? So what this basically means is that, for instance, I believe, Jack, you said that you rolled an 18, yeah?
Yes.
So if Jack was to do what quite honestly could be quite a silly thing and put the only 18 he's got into willpower, then he would have a total of +6 when rolling to be courageous in the face of danger because of the focus he got earlier on.
That's where that goes.
Oh,
I
thank
see
you
now.
very much for the follow, Shasta. Thank you.
And as a reminder for mage, because of our class, we all automatically get a +1 to our magic, I believe. Or am I thinking wrong?
I don't get that. I get a
You
+1 in
don't?
my willpower.
Oh, it's my background that gives me that. Sorry.
Yep. Bobby, you're good.
I've actually just realised that if you're playing an Ander Survivor, it says add one to your Constitution ability. Anders must be tough. And I immediately went, yeah, he's got to be.
Oof.
Oofed. Okay. Has everybody tallied up their abilities and modifiers? Jack, you needing a little bit of a hand with anything there?
I think I've got it. I
You've
think
got
I've got it. I think I've got it. Yeah.
Absolutely fine. So from there, whichever number you guys have put in, whichever modifier you've got in dexterity, you can now fill in your speed and your defense as well. Okay?
I am so squishy.
I am so easy to hit.
Now, on our speed or whatever, it's the modifier that we're adding, right? Not the.
Yes, it's the modifier that you add to that.
Okay.
So your speed will be your whatever number you're playing an elf. So I believe it's 12 plus your speed, plus your defense,
Yep.
your dexterity. Sorry, it's 12 plus your speed. No, we're trying to figure out your speed.
I am also very squishy. Please don't touch me.
That's. Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood something. I have to rewrite stuff. It doesn't change anything. It's just I misunderstood how I was meant to be putting in the numbers. I was not really putting in the D6 rolls. I was putting in the number.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
Now I understand.
No worries.
That's why.
Can you
I was
imagine
confused.
having like a 25-yard speed? You're basically like tripling what you would have in D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full sprint.
So like for instance, our elven apostate, if you don't mind me asking, what is your dexterity modifier?
2.
2. So you have a 14 speed.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you thinking that doesn't sound like a lot, in D&D, this mage is moving at the speed of your average monk, at 42 feet per round.
Yep.
While we're on that little topic as well, in Dragon Age, rounds do not exist in 6-second bursts. They exist in 15-second bursts. So, there's a little bit longer times to play on actions as well. Yeah, instead of being
Partially because every spell in Origins takes forever.
Yeah. Oh my god, fighting the High Dragon and trying to cast Blizzard, Earthquake, Lightning Storm, and Firestorm just to get the constant AoE damage. And you're like, I'm going to be here for a solid 30 seconds, guys, don't mind me.
Yeah, give me a minute. And then we get Inquisition Blizzard, where I always give it to Vivienne, and she's just like, done.
Yeah. But Inquisition Ice Magic is just insane. Like, it's absolutely mental.
But you know what's still the best ice spell is Hawk's Cone of Cold.
Oh, but the reason...
Just slinging it behind you? Ugh!
The reason it's the best for me is because, one, the animation of it, and two, because if you killed someone with it, you actually impaled them. And it was badass as hell. But there is, like, if you cast it in front, it does this very typical sweep with the hand. If you cast it behind, he almost nonchalantly goes... As if, like, don't fucking sneak up on me. Like, I know you're there, bitch. Like,
I love it.
I love Hawk. One of my favourite things with Hawk is I always play Blood into Force Mage. Because there's something really funny about spam casting Fist of the Maker and just being like, I'm going to make you a basketball. Boing, 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 boing. Are you dead yet? No, boing, 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 boing. So good.
I love Force Mage Hawk.
Force Mage is so good. Okay, so we have our defense.
Also, Pull of the Abyss as they go.
Pool of the
like
Abyss
little, like,
is a
ducklings in the
slept
wind.
on spell. So slept on. We have our defense, we have our speed, we have our abilities. Now let's go into talking about our classes. We're going to start off, again, the same order we went. We're going to start off with our lovely Jack. Now, Jack, with your starting health as a warrior, you're going to get 30 plus your Constitution modifier plus 1 roll of a d6. So please, by all means, I know usually I do max health, but I'm not doing that with Dragon Age. It's supposed to be difficult. Another reminder to everybody while Jack is rolling that is that Dragon Age is a dark fantasy game. There are jovial points of Dragon Age and there's comical bits, but this is not the type of game to play if you want to be a god fighting machine. You will not be at the level of fighting gods until you are incredibly high level. Whereas in D&D it's like, I'm level 10, let's go punch a demigod. No. In Dragon Age, if you punch anything remotely of like demigod level less than level 16, you are going to die. Straight up death. Or even worse, you'll just get locked in the fate. So Jack, what did you get for your starting health total?
36.
36. Awesome. That is a pretty decent start for a warrior there.
Yes. Yeah.
So now you also get these weapon groups that you're able to use. So you get brawling, and then you get to pick any 3 of the following: axes, bludgeons, bows, heavy blades, lances, light blades, polearms, spears, or staves. Now, as a Kunari, again, I'm not going to tell you what to choose, it's your choice. Kunaris are probably going to be very well versed in using two-handed weapons. So using like heavy blades, polearms, that kind of thing will come quite second nature to you. But by all means, do you have any idea of what kind of weapons you want to be sporting?
I need to look at the individual stats per se. I had an idea. Obviously,
Of course.
a two-handed weapon.
Yeah.
But of course, this must be so. I need to look at the specifics. I did have a question. It says 3 weapons.
Yes.
A shield does not count as a weapon.
A
does it?
shield is not a weapon.
Yes. Okay.
But it could be. You want to bash somebody's face in with a shield, it's not too
If
hard.
you want to bop someone with a shield, it is definitely not difficult to do it.
I'll pick that up later, though.
I had a character once who only used shields.
There
and
we
just
Cool.
Pound people
So
with
if you're looking for the stats of weapons and such, you're going to want to look at chapter 4.
Yes, I have found them.
Fantastic.
Well. Well, I think I'm definitely going to pick up... Yeah. Definitely going to pick up... Because I get 3 of these?
So you get brawling as a standard, and then you get to
Yep.
pick 3 of any weapon group. Now, just to be clear, this is not a weapon you will
proficiencies.
start with. This is essentially
proficiencies.
weapons you can use, weapons you're able to
Yes.
use off the bat. This doesn't mean
You're
you get
proficient in.
this doesn't mean you get the focus or the talent for them to begin with, but these are weapons that you are able to use.
Then I definitely am going with Heavy Blade. I believe that was one on there.
Yep.
Polearm also I believe was on there, if I recall.
Uh-huh.
And the other ones were... Sorry. I'm writing it down as I'm saying it.
That's absolutely fine.
Sorry, y'all.
Listen,
No worries.
Not to worry. Take
Yeah,
your
this is
time.
what this is for.
Yeah, this is why we're doing this, buddy.
Gotta pick my arsenal, if you will.
Yeah.
Probably gonna go with...
So already you're going to I think you said that you were going to go with heavy blades.
Yes, heavy blades, polearms, and I'm need to distinguish between what is. Yeah, I think I'll go either with axe or spear. I just need to be specific.
Okay, so I think as far as I'm aware, and I may be incorrect in this, it has been a while since I have ran a Dragon Age game, but I'm fairly sure that when it comes to things like polearms are generally within how Dragon Age looks at it, glaives, halberds, and like pitchforks. And you were also saying axes. Axes does include everything from your standard little battle axe all the way up to a two-handed axe.
Yes. I think... Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, I'm gonna go with, then...
Your polearms are glaive, halberd, and military fork.
That's it. It's not a pitchfork. It's a military fork. Thank you very much, Abby. Thank you for that.
You got it.
I'm gonna... Why not? Yeah, I'm gonna go with axes.
Axes, heavy blades, and polearms.
Yes.
And military forks.
Those are in polearms.
Those are fun looking.
Fantastic.
Gonna be...
And now with that, the final part of your character that we have to do right now is just going over the kind of things you get for being a warrior. So at level 1, which is what we're going to be starting at, you get starting talents. Now, talents, for those of you who are more familiar with like a typical D&D kind of thing, talents are like feats. They also open up pathways for you to move into other things. So for instance, taking the first level, the novice level in a talent, is a bit like so talents have multiple levels. It's as if you took like a feat similar to like the elemental mastery, where you pick like an element and you get to do more damage with it and you can take it multiple times. Talents operate like that. You take a novice, then I believe journeyman, and then master.
Mm-hmm.
I know the language is different between the old set books and then the new core rulebook. So I think it's novice, journeyman, master. So at starting, Jack's warrior will get the starting talent, the novice level of the talents of 2 of the following types. You can get archery style, dual weapon style, single weapon style, throwing weapon style, two-hander style, or weapon and shield style.
I will be picking up two-hander and weapon and shield.
Fantastic. So to give people an idea of what two-hander style and weapon and shield style does, is two-hander style, as it pretty much sounds like at novice, the length of your weapon and the power of your attack forces foes to yield ground. Whenever Jack's character is successful in striking with a melee attack, wielding a two-handed weapon, he can choose to move the target 2 yards in any direction. Kinda handy. So imagine swinging with an axe, clobbering somebody that hard that you actually knock them back 6 feet. That's essentially what Jack's character will be able to do with this. And what's the other novice level you said? You said you were going to take a weapon and shield style.
Yep.
This means that whenever you're using a shield, the novice level gives you that you will get your full defense bonus when using a shield. And again, these can be leveled up as he goes on. When Jack is able to take a new talent, he can choose to take it in this, and it will move up to the journeyman level, and then again up to the master level. So again, lots and lots of creative control over exactly how your character is going to be built. Despite the fact of having less class options, less specializations, and less races, so many much more wide varieties of creation choices are very present in the Dragon Age system. And you're also going to become a novice in the armor training talent. And the novice of that is you can wear leather and mail armor without suffering a penalty to your dexterity.
Very important.
Very, very important, my friend. You got all those noted down?
Yes.
Fantastic, Jack. Then we are going to move on to our mages. We're going to go to to Jess and Jason, both playing mages, and we're going to start on your characters. Now,
Cool.
when it comes to mages, there's a little bit of a number crunchy for you guys. So starting off, you guys, when it comes to your starting health, you get 20 plus your constitution plus 1d6. So if you go ahead and roll those hit point totals.
Okay. That's not like horrible. I'm so squishy. No. Don't hit me.
You're going to get max possible hit points that you can get right now. I believe in you.
I rolled a 4, so that wasn't bad. The only problem is my
same.
con is a +1. So.
Hey, same!
Would you look at that?
Hey!
Our mages.
Point buddies!
Okay, fantastic, guys. You guys also get the ability to use brawling, as well as staves. You can punch somebody or you can bop them with a stick.
Yep.
Fantastic. So that that's what you guys get access to. Sorry.
Yeah.
At level 1. At level 1, you guys get a bit of a basic thing. This is what I like to liken to Dragon Age's version of an Eldritch Blast. If you have no mana points left whatsoever, you will always be able to cast this. You have Arcane Lance. Mages learn to focus their magical power through a staff. If you're holding a quarterstaff, you can make a special ranged attack that damages foes with a lance of magical energy. This is resolved like a normal ranged attack, so you can stunt on these. Stunts are something we will discuss in just a moment once everybody's done their class stuff. But the attack roll is a magic Arcane Lance test. An Arcane Lance has a range of 16 yards and inflicts 1d6 plus magic damage. And again, like I said, you need no mana points to make this attack. Okay? Awesome. You guys also get magic training. This is what allows you to pick your spells at the beginning of your adventure. You are able to pick 3 spells to start with, and you get more through talents and class powers. Alright?
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys also get your own little special thing. You get mana points. Here we don't use spell slots, we use mana points to funnel our powers. And with mana points, your mana points are equal to 10 plus magic plus 1d6.
I rolled a 1.
Opposite end. I rolled a 6.
Luckily, I've got a +4 in my magic. So.
Fantastic.
See, kids, this is why you should do blood magic.
This is why you should do blood magic. And you guys get a starting level, a starting novice talent in one of the following: Chirurgy, or Linguistics, or Lore. So Chirurgy, for those who are maybe not so entirely familiar with that, Chirurgy is the ability to treat wounds and illnesses. The novice would give you the ability to be trained in the art of chirurgy, and your aid is swift and sure. Heal is a minor action for you. Minor action is Dragon Age's equivalent of a bonus action. Linguistics, the novice in that, is you can learn an additional language from the following list: Ancient Tavine, Ander, Antivan, Arcanum, Dwarven, Elven, Orlesian, Kunlat, Ravani, or the Trade Tongue. And Lore is that you have an inquisitive mind, you're able to study facts quite easily. You've studied hard, and when you make a successful cunning test with a lore focus, me, as the keeper, should give you an extra piece of information on the topic. And this is one of those great things I love about Dragon Age, where there's actual parts that promote, there's actual parts of your class that promote RP and exploration and investigation, rather than just, I hope you have a ranger or a wizard. So that's what you guys get to pick from.
Okay.
Which options
Jess,
will you
do you
take?
have a preference?
Just given my gal's upbringing, I was going to do lore, but it would also make sense for
Go
her to
for
do
it.
Chirurgy.
Go for lore, I'll do
Okay.
the chirurgy.
Okay. Although we do have the heal spell as one of the ones that I took for her.
But that's the spell, not the action, right?
Oh, is it
The heal
specifically
action.
for the action, not the spell?
So this is one of the things. There is a spell called Heal, which is from
Yeah.
the Creation School of Magic that does heal
Yeah.
people. But there's also the bonus action of healing someone, which again another one of the things I
Okay,
like.
I got mixed up.
Imagine it as if your warrior has a big gaping wound on his back, and you run by him with a poultice in your hand and just kind of slap him on the back and run away. That's essentially what heal is.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
I'll go with lore then.
Okay, and I'll do the chirurgy.
fantastic. So we have lore, we have our chirurgy, and you guys have already taken your you guys have already chosen your spells.
Yes.
Do you want to share what spells you've chosen, or
Sure.
Sure.
by all means go ahead? It's up to you if you want to do it or not.
Go for Jess.
Okay. I took heal, mind blast, and stone fist.
Oh, that's good.
I took Daze, Drain Life, and Death Magic.
Again, also very good.
Very
Alrighty.
different. I
Very
love
different,
it.
yes. And again, another thing that does come into play here when it comes to your magic is your spell power.
Mhm.
So spell power is used when, like, you have to overcome natural resistances of a target. This is essentially like your spell saving throw. So your spell power is 10 plus your magic, and if you have a focus in the spell, that also gets added on. So if you were casting a blood magic spell, I believe, Jess, you said that your magic was a +4.
Yeah.
So if you cast a spell at somebody who's a blood mage, and they're like, if you cast a blood magic spell at somebody and they go, I'm going to try and resist this, then your spell power that you would use to overcome them would be 10 plus your magic, which would be 14. And let's say, for talking's sake, you had the talent for, not the talent, the focus for blood magic, you would get a +2 on that as well. So that's how that falls into play with spell power. All right.
Cool.
So be sure to mark somewhere where what your spell power number is. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I do believe that is everything for our mages. And now we go on to rogues. Now this is one thing I've actually never done before. I've never went through the character creation for a rogue in the TTRPG. So this
this will be fun.
This is going to be very fun. So as a rogue, Abby, you are going to get the starting health of 25 plus Constitution plus 1d6.
So I've already rolled this, and I rolled max, so I got 33.
Fantastic. And then your weapon groups that you get access to are bows, brawling, light blades, and staves. Level 1, as a rogue, you get the capability Backstab. This means that you can inflict a bit of extra damage with an attack if you strike an opponent from an unexpected direction, or you catch them unawares. You have
Flanking
to
bonus.
essentially the flanking bonus, yes. The flanking bonus if it also gave you sneak attack immediately, which I really, really like about it. So you got to make your stealth check, dexterity with the focus of stealth, versus their perception with the focus of seeing. That's the very specific part, guys. Doesn't matter if they hear, they have to see. Otherwise it still goes off. If you win, you use your major action to backstab them. You get an attack with a +2 bonus to the attack roll, and it does an extra 1d6 damage. I think that's I really, really like that. That's really, really fun, actually.
Really cool.
You also get Rogue's Armor. You're at home in leather armor. You can ignore the armor penalty of leather armor altogether. it will affect neither your speed nor your dexterity. And you also have a novice level in one of the following talents: contacts, scouting, or thievery. For those back home, contacts basically gives you you can attempt to make a contact out of an NPC, and this PC becomes like somebody you can rely on for information. They'll be friendly to you. They might not go out of their way to help you, but you have somebody you can kind of, oh, someone in this place that we visited, we now have somebody we can rely on a little bit. Then you had thievery, and thievery is honestly quite what it sounds like. If you're very, very good at picking locks. If you fail to pick a lock, you can just re-roll it, but you have to keep the result that's on the second roll. And scouting is you can use the lay of the land to your advantage. If you fail a dexterity stealth focus test, you can re-roll it, but you must keep the result of the second roll. So which one of those will you be going with?
Scouting.
Fantastic.
Try and see me now, guys.
Try and see me now. All right, fantastic. And with that, I do believe that's everything you get for level 1.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed. So, with that, the characters are essentially made. They are created. Now we go to your starting equipment, guys. Now, I'm going to be a nice DM. Or a nice keeper, I should say. And so you'll start with the starting equipment that everybody gets. Okay? Now, here's how that comes in. Okay? I'm just getting to the right part of the book for that. Where is it? I've lost it.
Oh dear.
Oh no, I've genuinely lost my place in the book. I clicked something and it went places. I think I found
It's in
it.
chapter 3?
It is
No,
in
not chapter 3, chapter 4.
It's chapter 4, yeah. All the way down.
Page 40.
Yep, I got it. I'm scrolling down there as fast as my little finger can get me there. There we go. So everybody starts with a backpack, traveler's garb, and a water skin. If you're a mage, you get one weapon and a staff for your arcane lore. Okay? Now, unless you guys have got anything that gives you access to other weapons, the only thing you can use is staves. Okay? So, essentially, you get a staff. That's it. You can take a weapon.
You get an additional weapon.
You can take a weapon as in being able to carry it, but you will have, penalties to trying to use it because it's not in your weapon groups. Okay?
Unless you get brass knuckles, because that's brawling.
Exactly!
That's what I'm picking
That's what I
for
was
my
about to get
girl.
into, because you do get, in Dragon Age, you get gauntlets. You get the ability to use fist weapons, which is definitely an oversight in D&D, because why would you make an unarmed fighter better than a monk, but not give them any weapon they can use unarmed? Right? Sorry, not to diss on my monk players, but being an unarmed fighter and having a DM tell you your unarmed attacks count as being able to smite and then taking a level 1 paladin, way out classes. Way out classes, monks. So yes, Jess, you're saying that you're going to take brass knuckles.
Yep. I just imagined my girl. She probably, while she was in her backstory, tried to learn a bunch of different weapons, failed, and she's like, well, at least I know I can punch somebody, and that's what she
At least I can bop someone right in the jaw.
Exactly.
What about yourself, Jason? Are you wanting to go along the lines of taking something like that, or do you want to look at maybe taking something that you can maybe look into learning later?
I'm gonna take a dagger to learn later.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That
Great
makes
option.
sense.
Great option. Moving on from there, if you are a rogue, you get light leather armor, and you get to pick 2 weapons.
go for a bow, preferably long bow, and a short sword.
Okay, again, great choices, especially for someone like a Dalish rogue. And then, as you've chosen a bow, you also get a quiver and 20 arrows. Now, again, I know this is going to sound quite harsh. In Dragon Age, I am going to make you count your ammo. That is fine. I'm also going to try and count your ammo because, again, Dragon Age is dark fantasy. It's supposed to be.
I knew I held on to my magic, turn down die for something.
Hell yeah. Okay, so you start with 20 arrows. If you're a warrior, you get heavy leather armor and 3 weapons.
Flip-flopped a little here, but I'm going to go with I think it's literally a two-handed blade. Is that what it's called?
Within the weapons, if you're talking about the heavy blade option, two-handed sword.
Two-handed sword. I have this blade on my sheet.
No worries.
I will be taking a two-handed sword, a long sword, and a throwing axe.
Fantastic. Just to double check, because within Dragon Age for certain weapons, you do have requirements to be able to wield them. Everybody meets the requirements for wielding their weapons, other than, the dagger, which you have said you're going to learn how to use. But, daggers, they do have a... what's the word for it? Daggers, they don't have a minimum strength level. But, if you were to look at a short sword, you need to have at least a -1 in strength to use a short sword. So I'm assuming that everybody meets those requirements?
Yes.
Fantastic, great to know. Now, I know that you said that you're taking the weapon and shield focus.
Yep.
But you haven't taken the weapon and shield talent, have you?
No. Give me one moment. It's a starting talent. You become a novice in the 2 following talents.
So it is a talent you took, yeah? Weapon and shield?
Yep, I took weapon and shield and two-hander style.
That's what I just wanted to double check. So with weapon and shield, because you chose that, you also get a medium shield.
Let's go.
And now, I need everybody to roll me 3d6.
For money or cash and prizes!
Oh god, we're going to hear more of this phrase. You guys will have to get used to Jess just shouting cash and prizes. Okay, 11. So Jason, you're going to start with 61 silver pieces.
Nice.
Jess, did you roll 3?
I rolled 4.
Okay, so you start with 54 silver pieces.
Could be worse.
This character's gonna die in a terrible accident. He's too lucky. That's a 16.
So you get 66 silver pieces, and to our rogue,
56 for now.
56. I like that one.
That caveat.
56 for now. Okay.
Watch out, 66 silver.
So just while we're on that, to give a brief quick little caveat away to the armor. Some people are starting with armor. I believe the ones we have starting with is light leather and heavy leather. So, armor is quite the cool thing in Dragon Age, because armor, like I said, it has a numeric rating. Whenever you take damage in combat, you take that off the damage. You subtract the armor rating before you lose health. This applies every time you're hit. And over time, even poor armor can prevent you from taking a lot of damage. Some armors, some attacks are specifically called penetrating damage, and this ignores the armor modifier. So, if somebody stabs you with a spear, you'll subtract your armor. If somebody hits you in the face with a fireball, it's probably going to count as penetrating damage. Along those lines of things, right? It does flip-flop between things. So just because burning hands might ignore armor doesn't mean a fire blast will ignore armor. It does chop and change. So it doesn't, just because a specific type of damage does it once doesn't mean it'll always do it. The other thing about armor is that armor has a penalty that represents its weight and bulk. The penalty applies to your speed if you're trained in the armor's use, but to dexterity and thus to speed if you are not. So, I believe that we have a rogue wearing light leather. Then there is no penalty for it. There's no penalty for wearing light leather. None at all. Zero penalty. And I believe that we have a warrior wearing heavy leather.
I believe so.
You do indeed.
You believe correctly.
Heavy leather does in fact have a penalty of -1.
I noticed that the armor training talent I have, Novice, says you can wear leather and mail armor without suffering a penalty.
I was waiting to see if you were going to remember from that, but yes, you're very correct. Because of that talent, you don't suffer that penalty. Which again is one of the great things about Dragon Age, about how you can take these things which just kind of eradicate things that you would normally fall into. With that, your characters, I believe, are created, complete, ready to step into the world of Thedas and start stabbing people.
And die.
So, with that being done, we've actually been quite quick in doing that. We've done character creation in 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is great. So I will now put it to my party, as I said I would, but the audience did not hear me say it. Guys, we have booked in for a 4-hour session, between 3 and 4 hours. Does anybody want to start playing today? Or would you like to take it easy and slick back a little bit?
Ooh.
I can see we have 2 people who are very much, I want to play. I can see Jack looking tentative.
That's so fair. We need that.
I'm absorbing all the. Here's the thing. There's a reason I didn't play a mage, is because even warriors can overwhelm me. So I'm just currently absorbing. But I will be down for whatever the party is down for.
So we have somebody who's saying he'll go with what the party wants to do. It all comes down to you, Abby, the one with arguably the most experience in playing the game.
I am happy to do what the party does. I've already told you about my schedule concerns, but
Yep.
other than that, I'm ready to go.
So one thing I will say, guys, is while we have this great little time here, we've had a lot of fun doing the character creation, we will not be here next week because with Dragon Age, when you play the games, it's best to play it with 4 people, and that's how I'm taking this campaign as well. So if even one of my players is not here, we will not be playing. And our lovely Abby has a prior engagement, and here at World Tree Quests, we always, and Jess has played at my table, Jess will back me up on this, we will always say real life is more important. So we won't be here next week. And I'm not trying to sway anybody, but if we're not going to be here next week, then that kind of tells me that we should play for a little bit.
But I'm good with that.
Alright, so what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to put us onto a little be right back screen. I'm going to give my party 15 minutes to detox and ask any questions they might need before going in. And then we will get started with Session 1 of Dragon Age Secrets. Don't go anywhere, folks, and we will see you after we take a quick 15-minute break. Hello folks, we are back and we are going to launch into our first play of Dragon Age Secrets. Now, to quickly go over some things I'm going to have at my table. One thing I'm going to have is that I have this thing that I've used for quite a while when playing D&D, which is called a DM's Inspiration. Now, Dragon Age doesn't really have a thing like Inspiration, so I'm going to add in something like it. I'm going to call it a Keeper's Inspiration. And basically what this will be is if you do something I like, if you do something that's cool, or you say something that I just think is funny. Basically, if you tickle my jollies for any reason whatsoever, I'm going to give you a 1d6 that you can add to any roll. Whether that is an ability, whether that's a skill check, whether that is an attack roll, whether it is to resist the effects of a spell, or even damage. I'll give you a d6 you can add. Notes, you cannot hoard them. Stop trying. People have tried in the past and I will not be falling for it again. You also can't transfer them. I would usually do it in D&D because D&D is for people who like to be demigods. But in Dragon Age, the world is supposed to be against you. So, yeah, you can't transfer them. Number 2, when it comes to this table and such, Dragon Age is a very difficult game in the aspect that whereas there are difficult things for people to role-play and to face in D&D, you can just kind of avoid them or pretend they don't exist. In Dragon Age, to do that would eradicate most of the map, 90% of the lore, and about 40% of the people you will encounter. There will be things you come across. There will be things that are pretty grisly. There's going to be depictions of death, bodies, blood, damn near every session. And when we go to certain areas like stepping into Tevinter, you will see things that are not commonly shown in Dungeons and Dragons. When it comes to these things, we handle them carefully, and we handle them as a constant yellow flag. Okay? Constantly from the moment they're shown, yellow flagging. At any point anybody has an issue, we stop, we take 2 minutes, and we approach it from a different angle. Okay? The other side of things, the happy side of things, I operate by the rule of cool. For those of you not familiar with what that means, the rule of cool is, it might not be the rules, but if it's funny, or again, it just tickles my jollies, I'll let you roll it, because why the hell not? We're here to have fun, right? So, maybe the rules say you can't shoot that arrow and curve it round a tree to get your target. But if you're a Dalish, and you've been, shooting a bow since you could walk, yeah, do you know what? Cool. Have your wanted moment. Let's see if it works. I'll always find some way to make something happen. And again, if you want to try something and you're not sure it'll work, I'll never say no. The most I'll say to you is maybe not in this moment, but please do keep that idea for another time. Okay? Now, could everybody... Whoa, what was... Is everything okay, Abby?
I just heard my cat on the other side of the door go, "Meow." And it was so sad. And I know she just wants food, but I like to pretend that she misses me.
Human, I require sustenance. Now I would like all of my players to roll me 3d6.
Oh, now I'm rolling good. Wish I could have rolled that for my money.
Jack, what did you get?
6.
6. Jess?
14.
Abby?
13.
Jason?
I also got a 6.
Okay, so I'm going to need Jack and Jason to roll off. 3d6 again, boys.
Let's go.
16.
No. 5.
Okay. As you guys know, This campaign will be following the linear timeline of Dragon Age Origins. Not necessarily following the same path, but following that timeline. And as where Duncan went around and recruited a bunch of people, you guys were also recruited. I've just had you roll the order in which you were recruited. What this means is this will give you a gauge of how long you've known each other as an entire party, and also who's spent more time with your recruiter. But now we're going to play. This is Thedas, and this is the Age of the Dragon. From whatever walk of life you've come, whether it was from a criminal background, whether it was from a background that had abandoned you, whether it was from a world which you were cast from, or whether it's from a world which you grip to desperately, hoping to remain in your comfort, for some reason you find yourself here, at the edge of the Korcari Wilds, an endless expanse of marshland and forest, with wolves, bears, wild dogs, and, if you're incredibly unlucky, chastened barbarians ready to either skin you, eat you, or turn you into boats, depending on which legend you want to follow. Maker forbid you should accidentally stumble across a dreaded witch of the wilds. But the worst thing you guys have stumbled upon is a puddle that's a bit deeper than you expected, and some wet socks. You have been recruited to join the glorious order of the Grey Wardens. Warriors whose sole purpose is to defend Thedas from the horrific taint of the Darkspawn. Now, what joining this order means, you have no idea. All you know is this: Wardens don't stop being Wardens. From the moment you were brought into this, whether you accepted, whether you asked to join, or whether you were conscripted upon pain of death into this order, you are now in it for life. Your recruiter, Warden Constable Osric. He's a man, looks to be in about his early 40s. Salt and pepper hair, cut very, very short, and the beginnings of stubble forming with a fairly long chin beard. He holds himself very well, and he's quite a hardened man. You can see the scars of some past battles creeping up the nape of his neck from beneath that very, very telltale blue surcoat held over some fine mail armour. His sword sits at his hip and his shield sits straddled upon his back, and he marches through this marshland as if the cold, boggy water seeping through the gaps in his armour pays him absolutely no hindrance whatsoever. For some of you, you'll have been travelling with him for a couple of weeks. For some of you, you might have been in this guy's company for months. But the marching order is also going to be the recruit order. The first one we have marching behind Osric, doing their best. Jess, would you please introduce your character?
Yeah. So I am playing Meryl. Are we giving like description of them as well?
If you would like to.
Okay. So Meryl, she's not like super short, but she's not super tall. She's 5'6". Definitely a little scrawny and like wiry in terms of build. She's got really, really, really long, dark brown hair that she, for as long as you guys have known her, every day she does different styled braids. And she will wake up well before the sun comes up so that she can have time to do all the different braids that she likes to do. She's got freckles on her face and on her shoulders. And the weirdest thing about her is that her eyes have sectoral heterochromia. So almost kind of like in half, she has one half that's like kind of this honey golden color, and then the other half is kind of this eerie pale green color. That's her. She's very quiet. She always has a notebook with her. Some of y'all may have heard her talking to the notebook at night before she goes to bed, but she's very quiet about it, so she tries not to disturb anybody. She tries to keep out of people's way.
Fantastic. Next in line, recruited after Meryl was found. Abby, could you please introduce your character?
My bad. My character is Vessa. She is a Dalish elf. She is probably about like 5'3", 5'4", depending on who she's trying to talk to. And she has pretty short brown hair. It's just long enough to pull back out of her face. But other than that, she keeps it very, very, very short. Does not spend a lot of time on it, unlike Meryl.
Okay, fantastic. Now, as you're mentioning, Vessa is a Dalish. Has Vessa passed the trials of a hunter and earned her Valasin?
I'm gonna roll to see if she has.
Go ahead. Let's call. Actually, do you know what? You roll whatever you feel is best for you to roll. I'll give it over to you.
Well, I was going to say if I'm over the halfway point, yes. If I'm under the halfway point, no. She's under the halfway point. So the answer is no.
So a Dalish with no Valasin. Fantastic.
She has a complex about that, for sure.
Awesome. I love it.
Could I add something real quick about Meryl that I forgot?
Of course, go ahead.
This is why I said human at the beginning. If you guys look at her, she does have pointed ears. But like when you look at like font sizes and like something's like a 12-point font and a 13 font, you can tell like there's something off in terms of how large they are. Hers seem to be a little bit smaller for some reason. That's the one thing, sorry.
No problem. Fantastic, thank you very much for that. Behind Vessa, trudging along, again to the best of their abilities. Jason, could you introduce your character, please?
Yeah, so Tira is about 5'2" on a good day. She has auburn bob hairstyle. It's kind of like bobbed off to the side, and on the other side she has a single braid that hangs down about cheek level. Wicked pale green eyes, and only to add to the complex, she's an apostate, but she has her Dalish markings that come up as branches underneath her eyes.
Yeah, Vessa's gonna have a hard time with this.
Yeah.
And bringing up the rear of our marching party, Jack, could you please introduce your character?
Standing at a pretty, between a healthy 6'8", 6'10", he didn't count this morning.
Tiny girls giant Kunari.
Is a Kunari born male. He has very long white hair that has been braided, but those braids haven't been touched in a few days, as they seem more just tucked behind the two curled horns, matching the silver, like the metallic silver color of their skin. And they wear a pretty simple, just traveling outfit, but a rather, not so much elaborate, but very well made, like, cloak, but has seen many better days. And they are also just, he's strapped on terms of, I think weaponry, if I'm going off just our starting inventory. Oh, and as well as these very, very, like, piercing, like, purple eyes with these strange tattoo markings under his eyes. but there's always this small, almost seems like a strange juxtaposition when you look at the rest of him, a small smile.
Okay. And with that, as you're marching, the Warden Constable, Osric, that has been following you, you haven't gained a lot of information from him. You will know a couple of things about him. One, through conversations at campfires, Osric does not drink. Doesn't drink ale, which is fairly strange for a human, especially a human that serves in the military. Number two, Osric is in fact this particular warden's surname. He hasn't given a first name. Whatever the reason for that would be, unsure. But one thing that is very, very clear is that... Sorry, no. I'm completely incorrect. Osric is his first name. He has not given a surname. I do apologise about that. Whether you've tried to broach the subject of finding out his surname, he's always just laughed it off. Given a little bit of a, ha, yeah, one of those things. I did have one. I must have lost it somewhere. Pass off as a little bit of a joke, but you've also gained the knowledge that this is the first time in a few years that Osric has spent any prolonged time on the surface, as Osric is one of those fabled Grey Wardens who specialises in traversing the deep roads. Now, to some of you, the deep roads are nothing except a ghost story, told in order to make you toe the line, not to wander off too far from your Aravel, or not to wander outside of city limits. To some of you, the deep roads could very well have been a place that you've seen. An all too dark cave entrance, a couple of metres away from a hastily parked Aravel in order to see to a Hala, or discovered at the back end of a forest path and quickly alerted to guards in order to close up. One thing is very common. The deep roads are a bad sign. And the deep roads are dangerous to those who are ill prepared. As you march, Osric is going to stop, stab the large kind of wooden stick that he is using to kind of maintain better gripping into the ground, and then turn back to you. We'll take a short rest here, and then we'll continue on the last leg of the journey. Ostagar should be no more than an hour away. Ostagar is the site where the gathering army, standing to fight what is believed to be the beginnings of a blight, is gathering. You guys were supposed to be there a week ago, but you've been rerouted a few times, had to take little dips here and there, and you've lost all kinds of communication with anybody on the front. Needless to say, you're a bit late to the party, and Osric does not like to be late. As he sits, he's very anxious, he's constantly fiddling. You know, he takes his water skin, drinks, puts it back on his belt, and then like 5 seconds later takes it off again, drinks again, less out of need for sustenance and more out of needing something to do. I put it now to the party. Is there anything you all would like to do, sitting in this little patch of dry land amongst this bog-ridden wilds?
I think every time they stop, if Vessa has energy left, is collecting herbs that her, keeper has used as healing salves or whatever. So, like, she's looking for elf root, any, like, embryon, blood lotus, anything that's around, and just adding them to her little satchel.
Absolutely fantastic. So, when it comes to that, there is a thing for that. And that would be under natural lore, which is a cunning check. So do you have the focus for natural lore?
Unfortunately, no. I think for her, it's just a matter of I've seen my keeper pick them, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so you can still roll the cunning check for that. Please feel free to do so.
All right, 3, 2, and 1 plus the modifier, which is a 2.
So that would be a total of, if I'm correct, an 8.
Yeah.
Whether it's because you can't spot them, or whether it's because just this particular patch of bogland doesn't have any of them there, you can't see any of these familiar herbs. You certainly see plants, but none of these familiar herbs. You see plants that are tall with these drooping green curled leaves and these large red stamen growing out of them. You see small plants growing on these logs, and these red plants are like they're very, very red flowers with these curled petals falling down, these bright stamen poking out, specifically growing only on logs. But you don't see anything like elf fruit. You don't see anything that you recognise.
Like she's digging around in like the bushes just to see if anything's growing underneath it. She's like, oh, it's so cold down here. There's nothing grows here. How do people live down here?
I think Tira will, amidst dumping out her boots, also make a look around to see if there's anything growing, just because she has nature lore and would be like, is that true?
Okay.
Kind of thing.
So with having the natural lore focus, you can roll that same roll, but you get to add a +2 to it.
Okay. Cunning 2, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
On a 12, as you look around and you start, going to the areas that Vesa looked over quite hastily, when you pick them up, there's not anything like elf fruit and such here.
Right.
So Vesa was very, very correct in the fact that they are not there. But you do recognise these red flowers. Specifically, you notice them as Korkari wildflowers. They can be handy in staving off the worst effects of the early onsets of a lot of fevers and high-grade illnesses. So these little red flowers on the logs, they can be quite handy.
I will cut them and approach Vesa and just be like, just so that you're aware, there's these and they take the fever away. I don't know if you have them where you're from, so I wanted to point that out so that in the future you can collect them. I know that you've been collecting them.
I've never seen these flowers before. You say they stave off fever?
A fever and sweats and chills and things like that.
That'll definitely be handy. And she like, if you hand it to her, she's like sniffing the stamen and like gives like a little lick.
Lick the stamen.
Yep.
Okay. You lick the stamen and you get this kind of very bitter taste. To give you an idea of like, if you've ever taken, I don't know if you guys, I don't know what it would be called over there, but we have like a medication you would take for generally aches and pains called paracetamol.
Oh, we have Tylenol, Aleve, Advil. Take your pick.
Advil. Right, so Advil. You ever tried to take an Advil and it gets caught just at the back of your throat and starts to dissolve?
Oh, it's the worst. The worst.
You know that very very bitter. Yeah, that's what it tastes like when you lick the stamen.
I wouldn't lick it. That doesn't really go well.
She looks like a dog that just like ate a lemon, just like.
Makes that face that you make when you were a teenager and you get dared to lick a battery.
Yeah. She's like, noted.
Anything for anybody else? Anything you guys like to do?
Seeing that there's just a small chuckle from Mike, which I didn't just realize I didn't even say my character's name, which I kind of want to be like, did my character give a name when I got picked up? Because I'm the last one that got picked up, so...
You could make that decision if you want.
I'll let the dice choose.
Ah! It's my favourite thing.
my character did give a name. And the name he gave was Aldrad, which is a very strange name for someone of Cunari descent. Just doesn't... Yeah, it's a weird name. But I'd say seeing that, there's a chuckle. And I think he'll find just a stone to... something. Or just the ground, in all honesty, to sit on and just kind of begin resharpening the two-handed sword. And while doing that, just keeping an eye out. If we've been set off track a few times and we're a week behind, I feel like my character's instincts, I feel like Aldrad's instincts would kick in of like, I don't like this feeling. And so I'm going to try and keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary that we haven't seen just kind of walking around the bog or the swamp.
Okay, so in that case, what I'll say to you is, do you have any focuses in perception for seeing or hearing?
Don't believe so. Hang on. I don't believe so.
So in that
I'm
case,
just gonna say that.
all I'd like for you to do for me is to make a perception check. To those of you who are hearing that in the chat, in Dragon Age, perception is its own ability. It is not. It's not a particular. It's not a particular skill. It is its own unique ability with its own focuses underneath it. So what would be your perception check there?
So that would be all of the d6s add up, correct?
Oh, you
Or
add
just-
them all up together.
Yep. Add them all up plus 1 from perception. So that's going to be 13.
And a reminder, folks, if you ever do roll doubles, no matter which of the dice are doubles, your dragon dice comes into effect there. Okay? So just be wary of that one. Okay, so that was a total of 11, you said?
13.
13. Okay, so on a 13, as you cast your eyes around, and you're just kind of keeping a general eye, you're not like scouting, you're just kind of like looking for anything weird. You think you hear something. It could be equal part wild animal, equal part passing by chastened wilder, equal part bit of wood groaning under the weight of waterlogged leaves. But it's very, very nondescript. It just sounds like a very kind of generic.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
Yep.
Nothing that gives you the alert of any kind of danger.
That's all.
Okay. Anything from yourself, Meryl, at all?
Meryl will probably just like find someplace dry to sit down. She'd probably take the journal out that she carries with her and just kind of like flip through it. And it's like, you guys would have seen like lots of stitching. Like she's had to repair it a lot. She's had it clearly a long time. And then I think at some point she probably would pull out like this kind of weird looking paste that she just puts under her left eye. And it looks for the most part kind of like foundation, but she only ever puts it under her left eye.
Okay.
And then she'll just sit there kind of just staring off into space, like 1,000-yard stare.
No worries. So, we come to a little bit of information I can give you about the mechanics of this game. This is one of the great things about it. You can also do one of my favourite things to do with new games. Learn it while you play. So we are currently in what's called narrative time, meaning that we're not really taking massive amounts of... we're not really taking big, deep looks at time and how it passes. You don't really do that until you move into active time or action time. So narrative time, you can be sitting here for a fair while or 5 minutes. Now, within D&D, you would usually have like, taking a short rest, taking a long rest. Okay? Within Dragon Age, you have taking a breather, which is 5 minutes, or getting some sleep, which is at least 6 hours. So you could be sitting here for as much of a length of time as you want, between 5 minutes to 5 hours. But we leave that up to party and what they want to do. So as you guys are sitting taking a breather, if you were in the point where you had taken a little bit of damage, you would gain back 5 plus your constitution plus your level in health. Okay? But as nobody's taken any damage, we don't get anything with that. You sit for a while, and Osric sits with his bastard sword on his lap, just drumming his fingers on it just in case. And then you see him perk up, looking around as if he heard something, but not actually looking in any set direction, rotating a full 360, scanning around. Time to pack up. We move out now.
There's a very soldierly nod, just...
In a not soldierly fashion, Tira definitely groans.
In a Dalish fashion of having been on the move her entire life. Yep, she's ready. Go.
He's like halfway through the sentence and she's already packed up and ready to move, like...
Pretty much, yeah.
Meryl,
like a little duckling, just ready.
Meryl, you ready to move as well?
Mm-hmm. She doesn't say a word.
Okay.
She just is up with her stuff and just ready to go.
You will notice that the one thing that Warden Osric does do meticulously is he takes care of his weapon. The bastard sword that is by far the grandest thing he has on his person. Golden filigree around about the hilt and a very, very long and slightly gilded blade as it comes up. It has 2 of these little points on the side before going up for the full length of the blade, basically acting as a hand catch that if he's fighting with it he can grab higher up on the blade for extra purchase to push down. But he does not put the sword away. He in fact stands up with the sword still drawn and reaches to his back, drawing the shield off. The shield that he's packing is a medium shield. And again, within Dragon Age, when it comes to shields, a medium shield gives you a +2 to your defense rating. Essentially meaning that it's, you get +2 to avoiding being hit. And he begins marching again. Almost second nature, the tip of that blade never touches the ground, never touches the water. Tira, you're about to say something.
Is there a reason that we're having our blade out?
He does that very Warden Constable Osric thing where he gives that smile and it's like, there's always a reason to have a blade out. There's just not always a reason to use the blade. That very much way of addressing what you've said, showing that he's heard you, but not actually giving an answer.
Tira nods and falls back in line.
I think also, since drawing attention to the blade and Aljed being, I think, the last to join, we'll look to Osric. A well-made blade for clearly a well-worn soldier. Take good care of your weapons.
But this old thing? Stumbled upon some poor bastard in the deep roads. He clearly wasn't going to get much use out of it, and I figured, why let a good sword go to waste?
Economical. I like it.
Maybe 40 minutes into your march, his slightly jokey demeanour becomes incredibly serious. And he starts kind of muttering to himself. Every step he takes becomes quite double-checked, fairly hesitant. And it's like that for about another 20 minutes.
I think after the first 10 minutes of this,
Okay.
Vesa will have her short sword out and ready.
Following Vess's lead on that, Aldred will take the two-handed blade and just kind of like, almost like, because you can grab a sword with like a heavy dart, like a decent gauntleted hand. So I'd say just kind of, most of the time, Aldred has like the cloak covering most of them. This time they have the weapons fully visible, just walking.
Somebody get this
No,
man
we'll
some
have her
arrow
step out.
shock armor. Okay.
That's all she's got, really.
Yep.
She's not going to be punching any monsters.
Right in the
Unless
middle,
she gets
there
in
are
a
two
bar
people
fight.
with staffs just walking.
So after that 10 minutes and that happens, everybody, kind of shares that look, draws their weapons, and then keeps moving on. At, again, about the total mark of an hour since you set off from your small rest, as the ground is becoming harder, drier, there's a rustle from some nearby bushes. And you all would hear a very, very rasped, gasping, "Help! Help me!" And you see a gauntleted hand reach out from the dense thicket of bushes and then just kind of flump to the ground.
Does Osric stop at all?
Osric stops and looks towards it. Again, when it comes to things like focuses and such, when it comes to your perception, there's a particular focus and empathy. Now, as you ask the question, Vessa, do you have the perception focus of empathy?
No.
You don't, okay. But you can still make the perception check if you would like.
Okay. Which one is my... There it is. Okay. That's better. 2, 4, 3 plus 2. 5, 9, 14. No, wait, hang on. That's not right. Sorry. That's 5. That's 9. Plus 2. 11. I can't do math.
And remember to keep an eye out for doubles, everybody. Okay?
Yeah, unfortunately, no double here.
Okay, awesome. So when you look at Osric, you would expect, hearing this, maybe shock, maybe preparation for fighting. Osric, the blade is pointed, but it's not raised. It's just towards it, as if preparing in case something was to lurch out. But his face is grim, resolute, and a little bit sad.
I'm going to gingerly, very delicately, soft-footedly, if you will, approach the bush and use my short sword to kind of push the bush branches out of the way to try and get a look at the person.
You push the branches out of the way, and what you see is a human wearing heraldry over this, dull grey metal armor. Bog standard soldier armor, not anybody of real importance, but wearing heraldry that looks to be 2 large hounds back to back, rampant across a golden back. You can roll to see if you would. It would be a cunning check to see. It would be a heraldry, but I know you don't have the focus in heraldry, so you could roll to see if you know the coat of arms that this may be. Any of you can. Some of you it will be easier for. You don't really get advantage in Dragon Age. It's just the keeper would keep note of who would have kind of particular knowledge of it and kind of dip the difficulty for certain people. Tira.
I got doubles.
I got double too!
Okay, fantastic.
Stunt points.
I had doubles too.
Awesome. So now what you all do
I
is...
did not.
Now what you all do is with the doubles, you look to the dragon dice. Whatever number's on the dragon dice. So you have 6 on the dragon dice, you have 4 on the dragon dice. Mm-hmm. And you have a 5 on the dragon dice. Fantastic. So now we have what I was kind of hoping would happen in this little kind of play session that we have. We have stunt points. Stunt points are basically, for those who are watching, stunt points are little things that make the game zhuzh a little bit. So what we're going to go to here is we're going to go to exploration stunts. So exploration stunts are located on page 133.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, because this is a check for understanding something, we will be using the exploration stunts here. So you have a number of stunt points that you can use. Now, from my understanding, and Abby, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, I have... it has been a while since I have played this game, so please do forgive me if I'm wrong. But you can use the number of stunt points you have, but you can only use one stunt unless it specifies otherwise. Am I correct in saying that?
I don't know.
This is the issue I had, because it's not very clear.
I have played where if you have the points, you can use it for however much you want. Like, that's how I've played. Just because I think it's more fun and you get to use more. But your call, Keeper.
Okay,
I don't think there's a hard and fast rule on that.
So what I'm going to say then, because I like the idea of throwing a little bit of chaos on the table, is if you use 3 stunt points or something and say, like Tira, you have 6 stunt points and you have 3 stunt points left, I'll allow you to use another stunt on the exact same roll. I will say, unless it says that you can put more stunt points into a particular stunt, you cannot use the same stunt. Okay? So have a look at the exploration stunts and see if there's any you want to use. We'll go, first off, let's see what the actual total rolls were. So Tira, you got a 6 on your dragon die, but what was your total roll?
My total roll was 17.
17. Aldrad, I know that you got 5 stunt points. What was your total roll?
It was only... This was a cunning, correct?
Yes, cunning.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to add the cunning thing.
Wow. Okay, 11.
19.
Okay.
Huh.
Meryl,
I got 14 total.
14 total. And Vesa? 7.
Oh, we can't hear you, love.
11.
11. I seen the Evan. I got there. Okay, so everybody is going to know these coat of arms. These coat of arms in particular are the coat of arms of the Theron family, the ruling family of Ferelden.
Does Theron have 2 eyes?
Theirin, I think that is.
That's what I thought.
So that is what everybody gets at basic. Now is where the stunt points come into play. So Tira, anything that you would like, any stunt points you would like to use? Now again, you cannot keep stunt points. They have to be used in this moment. But you don't have to use them if nothing makes sense for you.
I want to use That Makes Me Wonder to make the additional perception test.
Okay, so you can immediately make a perception test. And this test, it has to use a different focus. So you could use any of your perception-based focuses for this, and they're considered to happen at the same time. You would gain a bit more information.
Now, if we get doubles on this, it doesn't count, correct?
No, it does not give you more stunt points, I'm afraid.
Okay, because I rolled 2 5s and a 2. So.
No, you can't stunt creep, I'm afraid.
Already trying to power creep it.
So,
Let's go.
total 13.
Total of 13. Okay, so you understand this heraldry to be that of the Theron family. What you can also see from this perception check is it is incredibly battle damaged. There are very evident signs of cuts, of tearing. There's also blood, and there's this strange black ichor on it as well. Okay? That's what you can see. Is there any other stunt points you want to use? Or is that it for you?
No, that's it because I don't have enough to do the other thing that I would do.
That's absolutely fine. So, what now? I'm just Abby. I can see. Sorry, Vess. I can see that you're like, I want to do something. I'm going to go around the stunt points first, get all the information collated, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, Aldrad. So you have 5 stunt points. Is there anything you would like to do?
There's 2, although I guess Kira's kind of already did part of it. But I'm also wondering if this would be I guess because I would want to do that. Makes me wonder more specifically on like the type of like battle damage specifically. Like, was this a lot of bludgeoning? Was this slashing specifically?
That's actually an incredibly good thing to say, because with that, what that does is that leads me to then go, so looking at perception, if we were to look at perception and what you can take from that, do you have the focus in searching?
I do not, unfortunately.
Okay, so this would be an instance where that could come into play because you're looking specifically at something. As you don't have it, it will just be a perception check, but I will still take note that you're looking for a different side of things as to what Tira was looking at.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty good. 14.
14? Okay. On a 14, from the gaping holes in this surcoat, this tunic over the armour, you can see the armour beneath it is equal parts scratched and scuffed and dented in places. One of them that looks incredibly painful is, it looks like there are 3 side-by-side grooves on one side of the armour, and one very large, thick groove on the other side of the armour, pinching in on the ribs. These are what are probably making it very difficult to breathe, and therefore speak. Evidently, as wounded as the man is, it's probably you can also tell this from that, it's quite difficult. It's going to be very difficult to get this armour off, especially getting it off in a way that it can be used again. This is definitely battle damage. This is from not like a skirmish either. This is from a prolonged battle. Any other stunts that you would like to use, Aldrad?
If I had a 6, I would have had an idea. I don't, so I'm good.
Absolutely fine. So we go now to Meryl. Meryl, you have 4 stunt points. Anything you would like to do?
I think seeing this immediately kind of just like puts her into like fight or flight mode. So I'm going to choose the upper hand. So if combat happens within a moment or 2, she'll get a +3 to her initiative roll, because I think this just puts her on high alert, on edge. So
how this moment or 2 works is, within this scene, we are not currently in action time. Moment or 2 would refer to, like, within the next 30 seconds. As we're not in action time, what we're going to do is we're going to take this as narrative time, and we're going to say until the end of this scene, I'll allow that to count. Okay? Cool.
Okay.
So that's what you're doing with your 4. So you leave them to go and rush to this person, and you just kind of start, making a look around, keeping your wits about you.
Yeah.
We now come away from the stunts, and we're going to go to Vesa. Vesa, you looked like you wanted to do something. So please, take it away.
I actually didn't have anything to do. Abby is like, wait a minute, I think I know what's happening.
Is that...
So, don't mind me.
I think Tira will ask the awkward question about the black ooze. Is that light?
At that mention, Osric sighs. And he steps over, and he goes down to the man, and he takes... As he touches the surcoat, it is so damaged and such that it's almost like it falls apart in his hand. And he looks at the black ichor. And then, very much in a way that Vesa has shown to be quite alarming, He just... and he's going to look to the man and he says, "How long ago?" And the man speaks in barely a whisper. Osric, being this close to him, nods. And as he's nodding, you see him put the shield down. The sword is resting on his shoulder. You see him put the shield down. And you see him reach to the back of his belt and pulling out a dagger. And he keeps it very, very low next to his leg. And then as he gets the man, he says, yes, of course, we'll help you. But for now, and you just hear that as the blade goes into the man's ribs. And he says, rest. Your work is done. The man's death rattle comes out in a gargle. And you see this, again, this black ichor bubble and froth at his lips.
I fucking knew it.
Ugh. He stands up and before he stands up, he kind of moves. He doesn't move the man away or anything. He almost pushes him back into the bushes and puts his arms across his chest. And then he kind of looks sad at the man and says, if we had the time, I'd burn him. He deserves that. But we don't. Ostagar's been lost. The army's been decimated. About 3 days ago. We were too late. Now, I had hoped that you would have been inducted into our order before you were pushed into a test like this. But our warden commander was present at Ostagar with his own recruits. It is part of my duty to find him. And as you are all my recruits, it is part of your duty. You will stay close. You will keep quiet. You will be aware of your surroundings at all times, and if I give you an order, you will follow it. And he looks to you, Aldrad, and he says, if I tell you to hold your ground, you will do what?
Hold my ground.
He looks
with an eyebrow raised.
He looks to you, Vess, and he says, if I tell you to run, you will what?
I will run.
And he looks to you, Tira, and he says, if I tell you that your fate is sealed and it is a mercy to end your life, you will do what?
Die with honor.
He's going to look to you, Meryl, and say, everything they just said, you will do the same.
Nods.
He then stands up, moves the bushes back into place over the man's body, and then says, welcome to the Grey Wardens. And then he marches off in the direction of Ostagar. Do you all
Good
follow?
company, this one. Yes, but that comment, good company, this one.
Fantastic.
Well, I do, at least.
You hear them before you see them. Bonfires. Weird gargling and almost like a braying, like you would expect from like a horse. In fact, you can hear the sound of some horses as they're being killed and slaughtered for food. As you creep forward up into the back arches of the ruined fortress that is Ostagar, the smell hits. Blight, decay, rot. The Darkspawn are completely primal and animalistic in how they deal with dead. So around here, in very grisly fashions, you can see bodies of soldiers displayed. The Darkspawn are cruel. They are made that way. From what you look at, you look down from a ruined staircase into the main, the kind of like centre of Ostagar. There is a ruined pavilion in the middle of it with a couple of ramps leading off up to an area which looks like it was being used as a hasty med unit. You can hear the sound of dogs barking from a wooden pen. Right next to this ruined pavilion. There's a ramp directly behind that leading up onto a large overlooking wall. You can see it is crawling with these vile creatures. And there's another pathway in between all of this, directly adjacent to that pavilion in the middle, which leads to a long bridge. As Osric looks over the entire thing, he points towards that bridge and says, "That is where we must go. That is where we must cross. From there, we can find our way down to the other side of Ostagar and down into the Kokari Wilds on the other side." If we are spotted, keep moving as fast as you can. Only fight if they block your path. And by all of what you believe, by the Maker, by your elven gods, or by the Qun, do not get their blood in your mouth. And he will stay low, and he will move forward, making a stealth check to see if he can get by. That is a 6, a 4, and a 1. Stealth is a dexterity-based focus, as far as I am aware. I could be wrong on that. It is indeed. Does he have that? Allow me to check this. He does not. So that is a total of 14 for him. Anybody who wishes to join him in trying to sneak by can make a stealth check.
Doubles again!
Yeah, we love that. We love doubles.
This is going to be another really high roll.
Do we love it?
Oh, I got doubles too.
I
More
had
stunt
doubles,
points.
but I did good.
Okay, so let's get the totals from everybody. So, Tira, what did you roll for your stealth?
So on the dice, I have 16 plus 2 for my stealth, dexterity, focus. So that's a whopping 20.
20, fantastic. Aldred?
14.
14.
Yeah, 12 on the dice and plus 2 from dex.
Vesa?
15 total.
15 total. Remember, you are able, if you think that that might be too low, you're able to re-roll that.
I'm pretty confident in a 15.
Actually, I'm going to
And
be...
I hope I'm not wrong. Although I think it does say if I fail.
It
so I
does
don't
say
have
if
to do
you... It does say if you fail. Okay, cool. So for the sake of confirmation, in order to let you know, I will tell you that is a success.
Cool.
Yay.
Meryl. What did you roll?
I also got a 15, so hooray!
Fantastic. Alrighty. So now
It's
we
so nice
go,
to know you succeed before you say it.
Right?
so now we go to the stunt points. Okay? Now who rolled doubles and got stunt points for that action there? Fantastic. So how many stunt points did you get, Tira? 1 stunt point. Oh, 6 stunt points again. Fantastic. And Meryl, you got 4 again. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So in this particular action, we now go again to the exploration side of things. Sorry, not exploration. To the would it be exploration on this? You're not in combat, so yeah, I'm gonna say if it applies, you can use either exploration or role playing, depending on what you want to flavor it as. Okay.
You remember what page it's on? Was it 130?
133. any idea on what you want to use?
Yes.
Okay,
Very
go
much.
ahead.
Okay, I'm going to do with a flourish.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
I gain that lovely +1 bonus to oppose test against anyone who happens to be my compatriots, for reasons. But with a flourish, because I'm so sneaky and stealthy, I'm obviously the coolest of the group. And then advantageous positioning. I'd like to discover an advantageous position.
Okay. So advantageous positioning basically means that you find a spot that is going to allow your check to be a bit more beneficial to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to say to this one is, as you're making your way, you find a place where, oh, there's a bunch of tents here, and if you move into them, not only do they block your view from most of this camp, there's a very slight gap that one person at a time could fit through that will take you right to the edge of the bridge.
Okay, so then in that case, my with a flourish will be that I will point out that location to everyone.
Fantastic. So now everybody's going to become aware that as they move, they gesture like, there's a gap over there. We can take that. Okay. That is your use of all of your stunt points?
Yep.
Okay, we go to Meryl.
I mean, I was going to use advantageous positioning, but we've already got that, so...
But it can still provoke something else.
Okay, I will use that one then.
Okay, advantageous positioning, as you're following the route that's been laid out by Tura, you do come to a discovery in that as you're moving, inside one of these tents, there is a chest. It does have a padlock on it.
I'll point that out to Vesa, just like gently tap her with my staff and point it out.
The padlock?
Mm-hmm. She's like, I can't open that.
I don't know if I can. We don't really lock a lot of things within my Dalish clan, but I can try?
If you'd like to try, you certainly can.
I would love to try.
Well, lads, is there any other stunt points you wanted to use, Meryl?
I was wondering if I could do That Makes Me Wonder, and if I can make a seeing test on the bridge to see if there's any weak points on it.
You certainly can make that perception check. Go for it.
Okay.
And then we'll come to Vesa for the lock-picking check.
Okay. That is a total of 13.
A total of 13. So as from this point, you get kind of like, after pointing out the chest, you get like right up and you kind of peek out from across there and you can see this bridge, very sturdy, but it has had parts of it blasted out. Evidently there was some kind of artillery used in the ensuing battle. There are bodies pinned under still burning boulders. As you're looking out over the bridge, you're also going to see that there is a man who is, in essence, has been strung up in almost like a crucifixion style pose, tied, not but very much dead, body lacerated with all kinds of wounds, and in fact looks like his ribs have been crushed. Long blonde hair matted with blood and black ichor about halfway across the bridge, in some kind of weird, almost like a shrine. Like some bodies have been impaled and strung up and stuff as displays. This one is almost like point of pride where it's been put, for whatever reason that could be.
Can I point that out to Osric?
You can indeed. You point that out
Again,
to him,
just tap tap, points with the staff.
his face goes pale, and he actually it's almost like a sob chokes as it's that kind of like. And you see he has to take almost that kind of like, close his eyes, tense his fist, and kind of steel himself. We're going to go to Vesa now for the lockpicking check. So Vesa, that would be a dexterity again, I do believe. Dexterity lockpicking.
Is it dexterity or cunning? It
Uh,
might be dexterity.
it says here dexterity lockpicking.
Alright, dexterity it is.
Let me double check, because there might be a double one. There might be... No, it's not. Dexterity lockpicking, I'm afraid.
Okay, just making sure. Alright, that is a 12 on the dice, plus 3, 15.
On a 15, you pull yourself in and you know, every move that you make, you're being precise, trying not to make too much noise. And then you hear that very telltale, and the lock pops.
She's like, oh my god, I did it. Opens it up.
Inside, you find...
Meryl.
Inside this, you're going to find a handful of small bundles. One is definitely a coin purse. The coin purse has 11 silver pieces in it.
Okay.
There's also a short sword wrapped up. And there are bottles here. And these bottles have a strange blue kind of sheen to them. And they, even though they're not being moved, it constantly looks like something is swirling inside them.
So Vesa like waves Meryl over since Meryl was standing right there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Vesa just like hands her the coin purse. She's like, yeah, your human money or whatever.
Here, take your human money.
There's the short sword. Vesa sort of sets that kind of like on her lap, intending to hang on to that one, and then she does the like inspection of the blue, the swirly inspection.
Okay, the swirly inspection. You
Light.
swish. That would be in particular to identify these particular things. That would be a cunning arcane lore.
Can I make an arcane lore check?
Either of our mage friends can make an arcane lore check as well.
I've
Go
got the
for it. You're
focus in
too
that.
happy. You're too happy. You take that.
Okay, this is a lot. Okay, that's 19.
19.
Yes. Thanks. Oh, and I also have a talent for lore, so I get to know lots about this if there's more to know about it.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited.
In this particular case, there's not a lot more to learn about it. You do
fair.
you do recognize what it is, though. You've seen them quite a lot. This is a mana potion. Evidently, whoever was in these tents were mages. There are 2 of them here.
Without a word, she's just gonna take both of the bottles from Vesa and give one to Tira.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Because I don't think you said what they were. You weren't like, oh my gosh,
Nope.
these are mana potions here.
Nope,
So
she just
like,
grabs them and just goes and gets one.
Thank you.
where?
Walk away.
She doesn't even say thank you. She just takes.
Okay.
It's a bad habit from her youth.
I feel as if Aldrad was probably keeping close to Osric. Seeing Osric's reaction to the information Meryl shared with him, could I make like I think this would be an empathy?
It
For
would be
perception-
empathy if you're trying to read his emotions. Yes.
I'm trying to read, is that the reaction of someone who's like, oh, that's a commander who just died, or oh, I have a personal connection with that person?
Okay, by all means.
Perception. It's a 12.
12. On a 12, you can't get the specifics of it, but what you can tell,
Yeah.
this is definitely more than just, oh, I served with this man. He knew this person. How well he knew them, you can't tell, but he did know them. So there's definitely some kind of like there's definitely sorrow there. He knew this person, at least to the level that you would know a friend.
I think seeing that there's like a look from Aldrad to Osric, and in a very like hushed voice, may they have found peace. And continues to sneak.
Okay. He nods very slightly to that and says, "May the Maker take him into his hand." And then Osric will turn to the rest of you and say, "We move forward." Steps over that gap in the fence, and then to the side of it, gestures for you guys to then make your way and head onto the bridge.
Where are the Mabari compared to where we are? And 'cause you said they were still alive.
So yeah, you're obviously, you've played Origins, you're familiar with the kind of makeup of Ostagar. So where you are standing at this moment, if you turn around and look, if you're facing the bridge, if you turn 180, the gate to where the Mabari are is right in front of you. About I'd say honestly about 20 yards away.
And how far are the dark spawn past that?
The Darkspawn are fair. They're not entirely close, but they're definitely within. With you moving and stealthing forward, even with your stealth, they'd have an easy time seeing you if they decided to pay attention. So that's the bet on it, is there's not a lot of places for you to hide. It's a fairly open space. They're not looking in this direction, but it all depends if one of them turns at the right moment.
What if I turned this into a Zelda game and just hid in a pot?
Put on the stone mat. There you go.
There are certainly crates that are large enough you could put it on and then sneak stop. You could pull a Snake Plissken, but then what you're doing is you're counting on there not being a Darkspawn intelligent enough to go, that box was not there a minute ago.
Yeah, no, that seems kind of silly. I'm not gonna actually do that. I think as Osric is like telling us to come on, I am going to try and very speedily stealth to get the Mabari out.
Okay, make me that stealth check, please, as you get there and turn and make this stealthy crouched dash across.
Ooh, okay, hang on. So that is a 11.
11?
But I got stunt points.
Okay.
I got 2 stunt points.
Okay.
Is anyone else sweating?
Yes.
Well, no wonder you're
Imagine my
sweating.
Meanwhile,
character's
me was
mood.
like,
It's like-
I know they're dangerous, but not how much.
It's like
I
it's
never
like
played the game.
it's like session 1, and I've already got you surrounded by Darkspawn. You should be
Yeah.
sweating.
Yeah.
Isn't this like a Tuesday here? Come on, guys.
And we took a detour.
I'm gonna say, let me know if this is acceptable. I would like to use my 2 stunt points on Speedy Search. You complete your test in half the time it would otherwise take.
Absolutely. So this is going to be something that was a fairly minor action, so it's maybe going to take you like 7 seconds. But so 7 seconds would be getting there and like fumbling about with the rope, looping it over and then opening and then letting them out. But as
Or
you,
using a short sword to just...
that's what it is now. At this point, you get there, you take the short sword, hook it up, and pull. And at the point that you pull, it not only cuts the rope, it's also the force of it is enough to pull the gate open. The barking was coming from one Mabari.
Okay.
And as you pull it open, this Mabari takes one look at you and then bolts. Peels off, running, tucks a right, runs through the Darkspawn, leaps, pouncing, crushing one to the ground, and then leaping and running through the open gates into the eastern Korkari wilds. At this point, the Darkspawn are not looking in your direction, as a couple of them have got up and are, chasing after this Mabari.
She whispers under her breath, kind of like to the Mabari that obviously cannot hear her nor understand her. Andrul, bless your hunt, and then she stealths back to the group.
Fantastic. I'll let you use the same stealth check. So
okay, great.
You managed to get your way back there. You have rescued a Mabari.
Woohoo.
I like that you did that because I am a constant purveyor of I always rescue the Mabari. And quite honestly, if you don't rescue the Mabari, you're a garbage human, right? Just saying.
Yeah.
Right? I love how Jack went like that. I love how Jack did that. As if like, whoa.
No, I did that like. Sorry, this is to me this symbol means yeah, obviously.
All right, I thought that was like a whoa. Come on, I did it once by accident, guys. Come on. Yeah. I don't get. I mean, you like make Logain a Grey Warden. Okay, I can see why somehow that makes sense. Leave Zevran alive. Cool. If you want to play with death, then you do that. But not rescuing a pupper, you, my friend, are you.
I was gonna say, I was like, leave Hawk in the Fade, sacrifice the Chargers, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Oh no! Hold on a damn minute. Okay, neither of those things are allowed. You do not sacrifice the Chargers.
That was not even like in the same conversation. Okay,
that's not even. They're not in the same game for a reason. If it was
not be too hasty.
If it was a choice between leave
Before
Hawk,
anyone comes for me, I never sacrifice the Chargers.
If it's a choice between leaving Hawk in the Fade, rescuing the Chargers, or rescuing the dog, I am choosing to turn off the game.
I'm choosing the Chargers.
That's fair. You guys are now at the bridge. The bridge that would lead you over into what Osric has said is a path down into the lower Korkari wilds, which can take you out of here.
Are there any Darkspawn still on this bridge? Like, just chilling here?
Not that you can see.
That feels wrong. That
Well,
feels
see, the thing
wrong.
is, at this point, I would prompt you that, that's just you asking a question. However, you can make a perception check to see if you would like to.
I was going to say, that's exactly what Aldrad would do, as getting here, seeing no Darkspawn, and thinking, something's off. Well, those are some doubles, but really weird math. So you have to give me a second. No, wait, it's not weird math. I'm just dumb. 13. So, with doubles. What do I do with that? Oh.
So a 13, and you do have doubles, yeah?
Yeah, I would say in this instance, regardless of the roll, I think and it's a 3 on the die, so I would like to have just oh no, wait, it has to be a never mind. Do I have to save my stunts now or after you've now? If I
so generally if you have stun points you would save them, and then I would move on from there. So
got it. I think then I'll use 2 of them to make this like a speedy search, if possible. Or not speedy search. Yeah, speedy search. Okay. Try and make this survey happen quickly.
So, as you step onto the bridge, where generally somebody would have to take a scan of looking around and identifying, you are battle hardened. You have seen combat before, and you're very good at taking in your surroundings quickly. So as you move forward, you scan your eyes quickly around, and you can see on the other edge of the bridge there is a fairly humanoid-looking presence, except for the dark garb they're wearing. And they're just kind of standing, milling around, swinging what appears to be some kind of spear or polearm or something along the ground. Not really paying much attention. but that is on the other side of the bridge.
Very quiet, but like big figure that Aldred is moving a hand up and motioning towards that figure to draw everyone's attention to him. Them. It.
Everybody is shown to look. And as he gestures forward, you would see this darkspawn standing there. Tura and Meryl. You guys are going to very easily notice that what they have in their hand is not a polearm, it is not a spear. It's a staff.
Focus.
It's a staff.
I will gesture to my staff and point at it rapidly.
You hear, as you point to that, you hear Osric behind you go, "Fuck! That's an emissary. A magically gifted darkspawn. It's our only way." And he kind of creeps a little bit further forward, and you see him, at this point he's reached the halfway mark. He looks up at this man on this macabre shrine of sorts, and you will all hear him whisper the word, "My apologies, my liege. I will send someone back when I can." And then he's going to try and stealth forward to try and make what is called a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat is a particular rule in Dragon Age where you can, in fact, insta-kill if you can sneak up and deliver a blow successfully against an unwitting opponent. It can happen if they're unconscious, if they're such and such. Yes, Tura.
Knowing that I am stealthier than him, could I attempt to offer to do it for him?
Okay, you certainly could do that.
Just...
No, by all means. What Osric will turn and say to you is he will say, "While you may be lighter of foot, I think I am definitely more skilled in the art of a blade. However, what I will say is I will put it down to a focus off."
Okay.
So, when it comes to the focus that you would be looking to use here, we're looking at communication as the ability. Okay?
Okay.
When we look at communication, what you're essentially trying to do is you're trying to persuade him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, what he's going to do is not... He's not going to be using persuasion. See, he has a particular focus now because of his background, and that is that of an orator.
Okay.
Once I find that... Where is it? It has disappeared. Bear with me a moment. Sorry, it's an oratory talent. That is what I meant by that. It's an oratory talent. Not focus, that's why I can't find it. Because I'm looking in the wrong place. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. It's the talent he has. So, it's very, very similar to... It's very, very similar to that of like the stealth or the stealth talent that Vesa has. Basically, if he makes a persuasion check and he fails it, he can roll it again, and he has to take the second result. So you will try to persuade him. He's trying to persuade you. Whoever gets the highest roll, they take the win.
Okay. $13.
A 13. That is also a 13. So what he is going to do is as that is technically a fail on his part, he's going to re-roll that. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if this is lower than 13, you get the win. If it's higher, he's going to take the win on that. Okay. That is going to come out lower.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. This may change that, because he's rolled doubles. So he's got 2 stunt points on that. So bear with me just a moment while I go and have a look at this.
Do your thing.
He does have favoured stunts, what I'm going to have a look at. These are role-playing stunts. So what he is going to do is, with his 2... He is actually. He is going to use the stunt. He's going to use the stunt and another thing. Basically, he manages to weave a second thread of conversation into this primary interaction that calls for the test, if the description supports it. If it's relevant, he can make an additional test as part of the action before anyone else has a chance to respond, or make any tests or arguments of their own. So what he's going to do is, as he makes this point of, like, you know, I'm more skilled with a blade, he's then going to go, and to add on to that, I also do believe that with it being magical, if I fail, having two mages at the back will be decisively more in our favour than having one up front with a creature that, despite not having weapons, is much stronger. And he'll use that as the basis to make another persuasion check. I am going to say here, he does not get his orator. Oh no, actually no, he does, because it's no matter what check is made. So,
Yep.
okay, so I'm not going to make the check again because that's 2 6s and a 3. He doesn't get the stunt points for it. So 2 6s is 12 plus the 3, makes a 15 plus the 2 for his communication is 17. So in that point, he is going to put a hand on your shoulder and go, that bravery will serve you well as a warden, but be shown to temper bravery with common sense. And then he will turn with his sword and he's going to walk up and he's going to attempt a coup d'etat. Now,
Can I have a prepared action?
that's actually an interesting question. Can you prepare actions? Action time, as a minor action, you can prepare. You can pick one major action you prepare to execute, and then you can end your turn. So yeah, you can prepare a major action. What would you like to prepare?
I'm going to prepare Mind Blast, so that if this doesn't work, she wants to try and aim the spell to see if she... I don't know how close this thing is to an edge, but to at least knock it away from Osric, if she can.
That is absolutely fantastic. Of course you can do that.
I actually didn't know how preparing an action. How far away is this from where we're standing, which I assume is the middle of the bridge?
So from the middle of the bridge, you're talking maybe about 50 feet away. So 50 feet breaking down from 30... Sorry, 50 feet breaking down into 3 feet increments. Somewhere in the region of... Call it 7... I was about to say 17 feet. That's absolutely incorrect.
17 yards.
17 yards. Roughly around 50 feet away. So, yeah, 17 yards, that is.
I'd say then I'm going to, assuming this coup d'etat does not take off, if I could prep I think a run is a full action.
To run is a full action. You can move double your speed in yards.
Run's a major action. So yeah, I think I'm going to prep that for if that fails, so that Aldrich can be right next to this emissary.
Okay.
If we're all prepping actions.
I mean, we're all like, you got this, Commander.
You got the...
Just in case, though.
I'm just gonna prep days.
Okay.
Because I'd like to make it so that he has to subtract 1 from everything he rolls.
Okay. Vesa, anything you'd like to prepare at all?
I am going to pull out my bow and be ready.
Okay, fantastic. So you pull out your bow. I believe it's a minor action to draw weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Minor action. And preparing, that is... Oh god, preparing. What does that do again? To prepare is another minor action. No, you're being ready. That's what that is. That's why I'm getting it mixed up.
Yeah, this is ready.
So readying up is the exact same as drawing your weapons. So you just ready up, which is just you pulling out your weapons, being ready to attack. With that in sway, you can put away your sword at the same time in doing that. There's no, you have to use 2 to do it. So you put away your sword.
Yeah, I figure that's gonna get wrapped around my belt. But yeah, I'm ready.
He's going to make his attack. He's going to take his bastard sword, reels it back, aiming, and you can see him positioning it at the back of its neck, right at the nape of the spine, and he's going to stab forward. So that is a 3, a 2, and a 1 for a total of 6, plus 7 in total. Heavy blades, as well as the strength being at a 5. His heavy blades gives him a +2 for a total of 7. So that is 2, 3, and 1. 6 plus 7 makes a total of 13. The coup d'etat usually can only be used against a dying or unconscious opponent, but because I wanted to show the capability of what it can do, it goes immediately against a defense of 10. As he pushes the blade very swiftly through the back of the neck and just swipe, and you watch as this emissary's head tumbles off and falls to the ground. He then turns and very quickly gestures to you all to move across the bridge.
Bow in hand, arrow still like ready to just pull back, running.
He now takes a right turn, moving towards another open courtyard with 2 ramps. One ramp leads up to it's like a small fortification wall, which has, archery posts and such. A ramp beyond that leads up to a sprawling, once beautifully mosaiced, now lost to time, courtyard in front of a large tower. That tower is from the halfway mark up, completely burned, blackened. And as he looks at it, he gestures to it and he says, "Inside the tower, there's a tunnel. We take the tunnel down into the eastern Korkaris at the lower lands, and we should be able to make a direct break free of the Korkaris without running into any more Darkspawn." Stick
There's
together.
always a but.
Evidently there are signs of damage. We do not know what is inside this tower. Be prepared. Be ready for anything. Watch each other's backs. As a warden, I have some natural detection ability. I can feel when the Darkspawn are near, but it doesn't always tell me how close. We cannot rely entirely upon it. We must use everything. Eyes, ears, to a certain extent your nose. You will smell them coming. Please believe me. Your life may very well count upon it. And then he's going to turn and he's going to gesture up the 2 ramps to make your way up towards the tower.
It was instructed.
You do as instructed. You follow. You all following. Stealth checks from everybody, please.
I'm going to say in this instance, Aldred is taking up back to make sure they aren't flanked specifically.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
You did not roll very well. What's my dex again? Do I have a bonus to it? Okay, I'm gonna pause.
I know I have a
So
bonus
it's
as well. Okay, that's...
It is dexterity, and it is the stealth focus, just in case anybody has it.
I do have doubles.
Okay.
Yay, doubles!
Okay. I think I'm gonna take. It was doubles, and the dragon dice is a 6, so I'm gonna take with a flourish on mine, just because it's not great. There's a 6. That's for certain.
Okay, Osric also got a 6 he rolled doubles. He has a 6 in the dragon die. He is going to use the upper hand. Remaining completely vigilant, completely alert, makes perfect sense for him. Did anybody else get stunt points there? Oh, Vesa.
Yay, Vesa!
What would you like to use?
I have an 11 total on the roll, and I would like to use advantageous positioning. You make a discovery from an advantageous position of your choice. Can't be more than 2 yards away from the place that would normally lead to your discovery. You may wait until the GM describes what you found, if relevant, before you choose. So my hope with this is that as we are stealthing, if I notice something ahead of us, that I will be able to be in an advantageous position, whether that is, higher ground, like on a staircase or something, or...
Being a Dalish, you are used to traversing all kinds of weird and wonderful uneven grounds. So while they move up these ramps, you're able to just one hand hop, pull yourself up right over the fortification wall.
Parkour!
Meaning that as you land on the other side, you are on top of a raised position. Instinctively, as you land on that side, you crouch, you still have your bow ready in hand, and you gain a scan of what's there. As that happens and you leap over, and Osric makes his way forward, you can see from this view that as where they're going to step forward, there are Darkspawn sleeping beneath these fortification walls. Some of them sleeping leaning on things, some of them lying face down in dirt, could easily be mistaken for dead, some of them sleeping almost strangely humanoid-like, like curled up. But there's like 4 Darkspawn here. One fairly human-looking one, were it not for, the snake face and the fangs. One hulking one, easily about 6'5", in brass armor. And 2 short, stumpy, almost like ape-like in their body size, small, stubby legs, big, thick tree trunk arms, who are like lying almost like bundled over each other, very Tweedledee, Tweedledum-esque.
I lean back over that railing I just parkoured over, and I'm like, dark spot ahead.
Osric will hear that, and he will take a note of them and like, well done, Vesa. Very well done. And he gestures to the 3 behind him, and it's like, very, very quietly.
Do you want our stealth rolls now?
I need another.
Bad news for you.
I need the totals. I need the totals of the stealth checks now.
15.
15 for Tura.
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear a 9 for you, Meryl?
Yeah.
Aldred?
With the flourish specifically as well, I'll say hearing Darkspawn will pull the cloak all around them to try and dampen the sound.
Muffle
of
the sound of the weapons.
Yep. It's now a 14 thanks to with the flourish. So.
And Vesa, your stealth check?
11.
A total of 11. Fantastic. Now,
Oh dear.
with one of the rolls being a 9, as they're sleeping, what this is going to make me do is they start to rouse. This is essentially something I'm using much in the way of like, they're stirring in their sleep. I make a perception check. If it's higher than the 9, they wake up, they see you. If not, they stir, roll about, back to sleep. Let me just get down to...
There's no pressure or anything.
Absolutely not. No pressure whatsoever.
Nope.
This is a lovely campaign, guys. So we just end
Great
here.
stroll.
It's been lovely traveling with you all.
We have from one of the larger ape-bodied genlocks a total of a 6.
Okay.
Got 3 more to go.
From the second genlock,
Oh.
we have a total of an 8.
Oh.
It's going up.
I don't like that they're getting higher.
I don't like it.
from the taller, humanoid-looking Hurlock.
A 3.
Not a 3, but a 5. And from the large, brass-covered Hurlock Alpha.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something else.
Not an ogre.
I
thought it was an ogre.
If that was an ogre, it would not be 6 foot something. It would be like 10 foot.
12
10.
foot.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, fair enough. I hear it was like, I thought they were bigger.
From the Hurlock Alpha, no movement. It does not make a sound. It keeps. Osric motions you all forward again, pushing towards the door to that tower. And as he gets there, he pushes the door open. It's a slight creak, like a... just big enough so that Aldred can squeeze through, and then he hastens everybody inside.
I drop down off my little perch with a cool little like soft landing and
360.
As you step into this tower, the initial entryway is a rounded room with a large fire pit in the middle. The Darkspawn have butchered this place. Spires and horrifically coated Icarus spikes point out from the woodwork of what was ever some kind of restoration attempt. Osric leads you through and around a circular walkway of a large statue of a woman, her hands clasped like this, holding what is a brazier placed in her hands to make it look like light coming from her hands. For those of you, I'm not even going to make you roll for it, Meryl, you know this to be a statue of Andraste. Andraste being the bride of the Maker, the prophet of the humans' religion. To those of you who are Dalish, this is a weird woman who was most likely some kind of mage and tricked a bunch of people into doing shit. To a Kunari, that's definitely a human.
I don't think I pay it a second thought. I'm convinced Aldred doesn't see it. Like,
Aldrad is just like, that is a weird rock. And just keeps moving. As Osric moves past it, he pats the foot as if to gain some kind of luck from it. The next few moments, the next 5 minutes are tense, stealthy movements through half-broken wooden doors and stone rooms where you can see horrifically ripped apart, mutilated bodies. The horrific thing about this, that you guys can all perceive, or actually would you be able to perceive it? If anybody would like to, they can make a perception check for this.
sure, why not?
Is it like seeing?
It's for seeing. It's for seeing.
Okay. I guess it'll be the same for me because I don't have any. I rolled not very great again. Rolled a 9 again.
We're getting them out. Okay? Getting them out.
Perception checks, people. What did we get?
I'm not gonna bother.
That's fine. We've all had it. Don't worry, Tira.
Yep.
10.
10 for Aldrad. Vesa.
14.
14. Meryl.
She got a 9, so probably a little misty-eyed as she walks past Andraste, and that's why she's not noticing anything.
Okay, so the only one that would succeed in this is Vesa. Vesa, you're walking past multiple bodies here. Some of them you can see the faces, some of them wearing helmets. One thing you can notice about all of them, all of the dead bodies that you see are male. Osric will see you take note and say, Darkspawn are not made the way we are. They create brood mothers, depending on the race which they are taken. That is what kind of Darkspawn they will create. And he's going to look to the men and go, These are the lucky ones.
Looks to the majority female group and goes,
To be very evident on what this, to be very evident to everybody watching what this means, Darkspawn don't operate on what the initial instinct of what that means is. Basically, they take females, they feed them the blight, and they become brood mothers. Any Darkspawn that is a standard soldier was a male. That's very, very bare bones of it. This was addressed by the Dragon Age Origins teams because they worded a poem very strangely and made a lot of people very uncomfortable.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah, it was in a lore video of like, hey,
just so you know,
something.
they
I'm like,
use this
oh.
word. It doesn't mean that. I've watched that exact same video. This is why I wanted to kind of have it addressed at some point in it. It's just one of those points that, like with dark fantasy, it's kind of icky, but it's not what was initially thought, because that will never
it's
be
not
present
as
in my
icky
games.
as we thought it was.
Exactly. Moving swiftly on from that.
You're right.
What was it? What were you going to say, Vessa?
No, I'm not gonna say anything actually.
Okay, no
dear.
problem. Moving on from that, Osric moves forward, pushing towards another door. And as he pushes open the room, he can see that there is... You would all be able to see, in fact, as he pushes the door open, there is a huge hole in the wall. Evidently some kind of secret passage, but has been smashed open. Whether it was done hastily for people to escape, or whether it was done by the Darkspawn who maybe came in this way, who knows? But he's going to say, not ideal, but at least it's clear. This is where we make our way down. This will take us down into the lower eastern Kokari wilds, and then from there it's a straight shot on to the next town. I had hoped that we would see signs of Warden Commander Duncan, but we have to fear the worst. We have to assume that we are the last Grey Wardens in Ferelden. Once we are free of here, we will immediately conduct your joining, and you will be inducted into the Order. For now, move. And he will gesture for you all to make your way down the tunnel first.
Do as told.
So you move into the tunnel?
I was gonna say, I think if he's going up behind now, I'll drive, but I'll take the front.
Yeah, I'll go behind.
Okay. Vessa, Meryl, do you do as you're told?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Meryl's just... While she's normally very just impulsive because of things, she is gonna turn to Osric and be like, do you want me to collapse the tower?
At least this tunnel behind us would be appreciated.
And she'll use Stone Fist to just hurl a big old rock to try and just...
And exactly
block his entrance.
at the point as you do that, as you start to channel the magic with Osric standing there, as he goes to turn to watch what you do, he lurches. And you see the point of a blade thrust through him. And as it points through, he rises off the ground as this Hurlock in this brass armour with a huge two-handed sword lifts him up and then throws him aside. As you all face a Hurlock Alpha.
Is it just the Hurlock Alpha?
Just the Hurlock Alpha. They're smart, but they're not that smart. And as he casts him aside, blood now weeping from the centre of his chest, Warden Osric is out of commission for this combat. Now, we only have half an hour left. Really. So what I'm going to say there is, we're going to leave it there. And we're going to come back next session where you'll get your first taste of combat.
Okay.
Alrighty? But we end with you guys preparing to go toe-to-toe against the Hurlock Alpha. Meryl, you will not use the mana points for that spell as you were not able to
Okay, I
finish
was just
the
about to
casting,
ask that.
No, don't worry about that. Thank you very much to all my players for allowing me to guide you to the start of our journey. Thank you for allowing me to terrorise you with the idea of Darkspawn at level 1. And thank you for allowing me for your first combat to be against a Hurlock Alpha. Well, you're supposed to be recruits to become Grey Wardens. I assume that you know how to use a sword. This will be your chance to prove it. And
Never touched a sword in my life!
I would like to make a couple of other thank yous, just with we do have a little bit of extra time that we would usually have, but I do want to utilise this. One, thank you to my players. Very, very specifically in the fact of for allowing people to see your character creation. That can be a very, very personal and a very, very deep thing for a party to go through together, and for you guys to allow people to see that in order to show them the points of this TTRPG. It's very, very heartwarming to see that within the TTRPG community. You guys are involved in the community, so you probably know there's a lot of, let's say, a lot of bad takes going around about a lot of different TTRPGs and such right now. So it's nice to see the good points when they do come. So I'm very, very honoured to have you guys at my table. Thank you to the people that came to see us today. We really appreciate you showing up. Thank you to those who raided. Thank you to those who followed. If you want to continue that support, please go check out all of our other social medias at World Tree Quest. Pretty much everywhere you go, you'll find us there. We're not going to be active on our Twitter page right now for fairly obvious reasons. I'm not going to voice any more than that. But you can find us at Blue Sky. You can find us at Threads. You can find us YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. You're going to see a lot of activity there. And the last person I would like to thank is I would like to thank Green Ronin Publishing for being incredibly helpful all the way through this. They're the wonderful people who made this game, who made this TTRPG. And when I started planning this, I sent them an email saying, hey, I was wondering if, you could send me some fonts to use that are in the book. I think it'd be kind of cool. And they put me in touch with a lovely, lovely chap. I've just knocked over a cup there. They put me in touch with a phenomenal chap by the name of Troy Hewitt, who basically turned around and said, hey, you want fonts? I got fonts. What do you need? Do you need books? Do you need PDFs? Like, what do you need? I got it all, man. And he's been nothing but helpful through this entire thing. And they've also talked about maybe giving us some prize giveaways and such for future streams. So thank you very much to Green Ronin Publishing for everything and for all the help. And lastly, I think the last person I want to thank is thanks to the people that invented this world we get to play in, because it's definitely a world that runs real deep and real rich with lore, and I can't wait for this party to explore, and even for those that know the lore, to find it by playing a character and putting emotion into that character and finding it in a very emotional way. I can't wait for that to be explored.
I'm having a blast with the, oh wait, I know what this is.
Yeah, right? I could see as soon as you went, so the Mabaris, right? Because I specifically said dogs, and you're like, right, so those Mabaris. Can I get them out? For those of you who have enjoyed it, like I said, please do go and follow our World Tree Quest social medias. We appreciate any follow, any subscription to the YouTube, any follows on the Twitch, and hell, if you want to, you can contribute to our subscription. We do have a running thing here. I'm trying to get to PAX U. It's going to happen either way, but every little can help to it. So if you have any donations you would like to make towards helping me get to PAX U and run more games for more people in person, you're more than welcome to do that. Any other funds above and beyond that go directly back into the streams on this channel and allow me to keep doing this for a longer time. If you want to see me personally, you can go check me out as Son of Asgard on TikTok. It is going to be much more Dragon Age focused that you're going to notice it. But there is a certain D&D dwarven bartender who's going to be making, not a bartender, dwarven weaponsmith who's going to be making a comeback very soon. So do keep your eyes peeled. Other than that, I've got nothing else worth plugging. I'm going to be at PAX U. If you see me, come say hi. I'll probably give you a hug. I'm a very huggy person. I'm also much shorter than people assume. People always assume I'm like 6 foot. I'm 5'7". So I'm quite short. So it's like I'm literally like a dwarf hugging you. So if you see me, I'll probably give you a cuddle. All right. But I'll be there running games, so do come along and say hello if you are at PAX U any of those days. That's everything for me, so I'm now going to pass over to my lovely players and allow them the chance to plug anything that they have going on very quickly, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to do it in the exact same order we've done it. Jack, is there anything you would like to plug at all?
Nothing in specific. Obviously, handles basically just Jacklish everywhere. There might be a 1 after there might be a 1 at the end of it. There might be some underscores. It's Jacklish everywhere. Nothing in specific. I'm looking to get back into making some TikToks, maybe specifically hinting at some of my writing, a book. I'm actually planning on writing as well, so you might get little hints of that if I actually sit down and write the dang thing. But
It's not the struggle, honestly.
That's
it
100%
really is.
the struggle, buddy.
I was like, I think that's at least 3/4 the struggle.
Yeah. But yeah. And also, if you just want to chill, talk about any other like TTRPG or nerd stuff, probably look for Jackfish on Instagram. That's a bit more of a chill space to talk in terms of socials. Obviously, no Twitter. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Jack. Moving quickly on to Jess. Anything that you would like to plug at all?
I'm here on Wednesdays for another of Brand's campaigns, but other than that, I'm just here and I'm happy.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Jess. Abby, is there anything you would like to plug at all?
Hi, I'm Abby. You can find me at WittyXWitch on any social that I am on, and you can also find me on the Star Ravens podcast, wherever you find your podcasts.
Fantastic. Do go check. I'm getting really into podcasts right now, so I'm glad that there's 2 coming in here, because I'm going to add them to my list. Woo! Look at me, I'm an adult.
It's pretty fun.
It's pretty
Don't
cool.
listen to season 1. Don't do it. Listen to season 2.
Do you know
That's where
what?
it's at.
You don't know this about Scottish people, right? But we're spiteful and we're petty. So because I wasn't going to, but because you've told me
Don't
not to do it,
listen
I'm
to
going to
season
listen to
2
it.
first, then.
I'm gonna no. You've already done it. You've made your bed. Speaking of which, Jason, anything that you would like to plug at all?
Yes, absolutely. So I would love to plug Dicey Tables podcast, of course. We're kind of in a hiatus right now. We are experiencing some life stuff. So we're taking a little bit of a break, but we are in season 2. And then I would love to plug that there's going to be a new TTRPG coming soon from Dicey Tables RPG. So I will plug that when it's time.
Fantastic. And what's your social media handle there, so in case anybody wants to follow you along?
Wacky. I'm Wacky Man or TTV Wacky Man on every social media that there is. That at some point I will be on something. You can find me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Jason. If that's it from my players, that's it from me. Therefore, that's it from us. Thanks for coming to see Session 1 of Dragon Age Secrets, guys. I've been your Keeper of Doom, Son of Asgard, or World Tree Quest here on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. With me today, we have had Jacklish, we have had Stories from the Roses, we've had WittyXWitch, and we have had Wacky Man. From all of us here at World Tree Quest, good night. Stay safe. Did you honestly think I was going to give you a Grey Warden NPC to stay alive from the beginning? Ha! And also, I'm not going to say don't pull a Finny, because this is not D&D related. What I am going to say is, Zevran, suck it. Good night, folks.
I mean, if he wants to.
Good. And on that
No.
note, good night, folks. Good night.